I was just taking a nap in class when a beautiful girl suddenly burst into the classroom. And while I was still entranced by her beauty, the girl walked straight up to me. Her bodyguard behind her grabbed my wrist, and I tried to dodge out of the classroom. "Hey, beautiful, who are you?" I was pulled away, staggering, and only then did the math teacher react from the shock and hurriedly came forward. "Who is this student? What do you want to do?" The girl's steps paused slightly as she looked coldly at the math teacher, her sexy red lips parting and closing. Yuki, Yuki, those four deafening words. Who in the entire country didn't know them? This female business genius who inherited the BT Group at the age of only 19, this name was the symbol of status, the capital of everything. "Can I take him away now?" Yuki didn't wait for the other party's answer, but instead forcefully ordered her men to carry me off, leaving the dumbfounded crowd behind. 10 minutes later, I was lying on a trash can outside the hospital, throwing up desperately, and next to me stood a Lamborghini whose driver's door opened, and Yuki slammed the door shut. "You can choose to throw up later." "Do you think I want to throw up? You had the driver drive so fast, are you trying to go reincarnate?" I wiped my mouth furiously. Yuki walked around me expressionlessly, her voice impatience. "Follow me." I turned around, wanting to leave. "Try taking one more step forward if you dare," Yuki warned coldly. "I am telling you clearly, there is a human life waiting for you to save upstairs right now. So you better follow me, otherwise I don't mind actually sending you to reincarnate." A human life waiting for me to save? I looked up and found that this was the People's Hospital. So I bit my lip without asking anything more and followed her with big strides. A doctor ran up anxiously upon seeing this. "Miss Yuki, you finally came. Is it this gentleman?" The doctor took a glance at me and was slightly surprised upon seeing my looks. So instinctively, I shifted my gaze and covered my face with my hand, and the doctor turned around to order the nurse. "There's no time to lose. Prepare for surgery immediately." "Perform surgery?" I had a face full of confusion. And who was that little child lying on the hospital bed not far away? I looked at Yuki in shock. "Your daughter?" Yuki rolled her eyes at me. "I am 19 years old this year." "You have a daughter at 19? I let out an even more shocked voice. Yuki turned her head to look at the doctor on the side. "If my sister gets his blood, will her intelligence be affected?" The doctor explained in all seriousness. "Miss Yuki, please rest assured. Blood will not have any impact on a person's intelligence." Lying in the operating room, I watched my blood being continuously drawn from my blood vessels, and after the blood draw was finished, I sat on the side to rest for a moment. "Miss Yuki II has been confirmed to be fine." Yuki was guarding by the hospital bed with a laptop placed on her lap, her fingers rapidly tapping on the keyboard. Ignored on the side. I was very dissatisfied and floated over like a phantom, but Yuki ignored me and closed the laptop expressionlessly. "Say, aren't you going to say thank you to me?" Yuki seemed to have heard a giant joke, raising her cold eyes to look at me, mocking. "Why should I thank you?" Not strangling the Sato family to death was already her mercy. Just as I was about to speak out, the door to this ward was pushed open, and a middle-aged man and woman walked in hurriedly. Looking at this middle-aged man who walked in, I almost thought I was blind. "Dad! Why are you here?" My dad looked at Yuki uneasily, rubbing his hands together as he focused his gaze on me. "You still have the nerve to ask? Why didn't you answer when I called you just now? Your aunt collided with Miss Yuki II while driving just now, and the second miss almost bled to death. Thankfully, I remembered in time that you are also a B-negative blood, the same blood type as the second miss. Otherwise..." My dad didn't dare to think further, while the middle-aged woman beside him smiled, bowing and scraping to Yuki. "Miss Yuki, we have already handled all the hospitalization procedures for the second miss." "Everything is our fault. Whatever demands you have." "Miss Yuki, you can feel free to ask us as long as we can do it. Just hoping Miss Yuki can cool her anger and leave us a way out." "A way out?" Yuki sneered and threw the computer to the side. "Just 1 minute ago, your son was still righteously demanding that I apologize to him." I was speechless, wanting nothing more than to find a crack in the floor to crawl into. I didn't know things were like this at all. No wonder Yuki didn't give me a good face from beginning to end, acting like it was all taken for granted. Hearing this, the middle-aged woman's slightly raised eyes glared over, saying in a screeching voice, "You brat, are you deliberately trying to make trouble for us? What kind of status do you have? Being able to donate blood to Miss the Second is your honor. Even you have the nerve to demand Miss Yuki apologize to you? What kind of trash are you? This woman was my father's second wife, my stepmother. My hand unconsciously clenched into a fist, my brain buzzing, somewhat unable to control myself from wanting to step forward and punch her. My dad beside me pushed me. "Ren, Dad begs you, go make amends to Miss Yuki first, right? After all, it was our family that caused Miss the Second to get into a car accident." Our family? I found it somewhat laughable. Excuse me, do I still have a family now? When Yamada Fumiko personally kicked me out of the Sato family's gates back then, why did nobody say, "our family"? Seeing that I remained unmoved, Yamada Fumiko's voice became even sharper, pointing at me as if venting all her rage onto me. "Sato Ren, are you trying to ruin us? Asking you to apologize to Miss Yuki? Are you deaf? What, your wings have grown tough and you can't be ordered around anymore? Why don't you roll over here and apologize to Miss Yuki?" Saying so, she rolled up her sleeves, wanting to step forward, with a posture as if she were going to teach me a lesson. "Enough!" Yuki stood up, a field of coldness in her eyes, her voice devoid of any temperature. "Who gave you the nerve to treat my place as a venue for you to make a scene?" "No, Miss Yuki, listen to me." Yamada Fumiko hurriedly opened her mouth. "Get out! Get out!" Yuki was full of impatience. "A lawyer will discuss the remaining matters. As for you guys, don't appear in front of me again." Yamada Fumiko was flustered. "Sister!" A soft and sticky voice suddenly came from the hospital bed on the side. Everyone turned their heads to look, only to find that a little lolly who had been unconscious had actually sat up at some unknown point. Yuki stepped forward. "You're awake? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere?" "It hurts here." The little lolly poked her own head aggrievedly. "Sister, what happened to me?" "Don't move around." Yuki frowned and pressed down the little one's hand. The doctor examined Miss the Second's body, taking off the stethoscope with a smile. "Miss Yuki, she is out of major danger now, but she still needs to rest well for a period of time." Saying so, the doctor uncle rubbed the little lolly's head. "Miss the Second, don't worry, you are fine now, and the blood you lost, that brother over there has already replenished it with his own blood." The little lolly's dark eyes rotated, placing her gaze on me, and then smiled brilliantly, revealing a row of snow-white teeth, her voice crisp and pleasant. "Brother, thank you for saving Hina." This little loli called Hina was simply a little angel. I hurriedly covered my cheeks with my hand and then quickly waved my hands. "It's nothing." "Then how should Hina repay you, brother?" This little creature actually locked her brows tightly and started thinking, and suddenly her eyes lit up. "I got it! Brother, can I marry you?" I was almost choked to death by my own saliva. "What are you thinking?" Yuki knocked Hina's little head. "He is at least 10 years older than you." "So what?" "Age has never been an obstacle to love." My God, were these really words spoken by a 5- or 6-year-old child? "Brother, are you willing to wait for Hina to grow up?" Yuki looked at me indifferently. "Ignore her. You can go." "No, brother can't go." Hina tried hard to hug my arm. "We haven't exchanged contact information yet, and besides, Hina hasn't thought of how to repay brother yet." Yamada Fumiko, who was standing on the side, hurriedly opened her mouth flatteringly. "No need for repayment, Miss the Second. It's his good fortune that he could donate blood to you." "Forget about donating blood. As long as you are safe, it's fine even if all his blood is drained dry." "Who are you?" Hina turned her head to look. "I am." Yamada Fumiko was embarrassed, and she hurriedly pushed my dad out. "He is Sato Ren's father. We are all Ren's family." "Since you are brother's family, then why did you say just now to drain all of brother's blood? Aren't you afraid brother will be sad?" These words were somewhat heart-stabbing. I lowered my eyes, looking at this little dumpling who was tightly hugging my arm for fear that I would leave. Yamada Fumiko pinched my dad's arm, casting a look at my dad, and my dad hurriedly bowed and scraped to speak. "Ha, Miss the Second. In short, as long as you are fine, it's good. None of the rest of us are important." Yamada Fumiko hurriedly followed with a nod. "That's right, Miss the Second. You!" Who knew the little dumpling interrupted her words, turning her head to look at that extremely noble girl behind her. "These two people are so noisy. Hina just woke up and needs rest." Yuki looked at Yamada Fumiko and Sato Masao with cold eyes. "Get out! How could Yamada Fumiko be willing to leave so unclearly like this? Miss Yuki, if we go out, don't make me repeat the same words a third time, otherwise you know the consequences. Yamada Fumiko was so scared her face turned pale. Yes, 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 we'll go out right now. After saying that, she pulled my dad to leave, not forgetting to turn her head and glare at me. What are you still standing there for? Why don't you hurry up and die out here? You go die first and let me see, I retorted back, sharp as a needle. Go back, you disrespectfully rude thing. All right, my dad hurriedly pulled Yamada Fumiko, turning his head to look over. Ren, hurry up and follow us out. I rubbed the little dumpling's head. Your name is Hina, right? Brother has to go. You take a good rest. Goodbye. Probably we wouldn't meet again in the future anyway. Don't go, brother. The little dumpling was anxious as could be, seeing that I had already walked to the door. Sister, hurry up and call brother back. He is Hina's savior. His family bumped into you and caused you to get into a car accident. He is just paying off the debt for his family. I don't care. I don't care. He is Hina's savior. The little dumpling directly stiffened her body, just short of rolling back and forth on the bed. I want him back. If you don't let him come back, Hina will never eat green vegetables again. Yuki lowered her eyes. You mean, as long as he comes back, you will obediently eat green vegetables in the future? Hina was a little schemer, sitting up all at once, counting on her fingers to speak. Deal! As long as you can get brother back, Hina will obediently eat green vegetables for a week, definitely the kind that isn't picky. Yuki remained cold. 1 month. If not, forget it. Hina grabbed Yuki's thigh all at once. 1 month it is. Sister is such a big schemer. Then go hurry up and call the little brother back. Hina looked up at Yuki pitifully. No rush. Yuki unhurriedly sat back on the sofa, flipping through the book in her hand. I have a way to make him come back on his own. Gazing at the book, Yuki was thoughtful. That boy's face. Walking out of the ward, Yamada Fumiko was like an erupting volcano, turning around to glare at me furiously. You brat. I see that if I don't discipline you for a few days, you're going to tear the roof off. What kind of attitude was that talking to me just now? Do you have any upbringing at all? What a laughable statement. My hand was tightly clenched into a fist, looking at her defiantly. Sorry, upbringing. A woman like you, who rose to power by being a mistress, has the nerve to talk to me about upbringing here? With a crisp slap, a slap landed on my face and my face burned with stinging pain. I looked in error at my father in front of me, whose hand was raised, his action still frozen in mid-air. How can you speak to your aunt like that? Your aunt is your elder. What's wrong with her lecturing you a few words? My dad glared at me furiously. Hurry up and admit your mistake to your aunt. My shoulders trembled slightly, emotions surging over my heart like a tidal wave, tears clamoring to run outward, but they were held back by me. I shouldn't cry. The person who truly ought to cry wasn't me. Yamada Fumiko folded her arms, looking at me with schadenfreude, a villainous appearance. This child should be hit when he deserves to be hit, otherwise he doesn't even know his own surname. I raised my chin slightly. If I could choose, I would rather not be named Sato. How did I raise a white-eyed wolf like you? Sato Masao was so angry his chest heaved violently, raising his hand to hit me again. Who knew that in the next second a clear voice sounded, Uncle, stop! My dad was stunned, and before a slap could land, I had already dodged. I turned my head in astonishment to look. Another beautiful girl. Did I hit the jackpot with beautiful girls today? Although I don't know what happened, this is a public place, so please mind your manners. The beautiful girl's voice sounded pleasant to the ear. Perhaps realizing his impulse just now and unable to lose face, my dad glared at me and walked off first, while Yamada Fumiko gave me a dirty look. Embarrassing! Saying so, she also chased after him. The beautiful girl looked at me. Are you okay? I shook my head, speaking gratefully. Thank you. The moment she saw my full face, the beautiful girl was somewhat surprised. Every person who saw my face and made this kind of surprised expression, I always instinctively rejected. I lowered my head and hurriedly covered my face with my hand. Noticing my subtle movement, the beautiful girl shifted her gaze and smiled. It's fine, what's wrong with you? Not injured? If I'm injured, I'm injured. I'm long used to this cold family anyway. By the way, Take this." The beautiful girl took out a hard-boiled egg from the bag she was carrying. "Use this to apply on it. It can reduce the swelling." I hesitated for a moment and reached out to take it over. "Thank you." "You're welcome." She smiled slightly. "Then I'll leave first." I looked at her back until she walked completely far away before I reacted. Speaking of which, I still didn't know her name yet. Although I didn't know her name, I felt she was a very good person. Pushing open the door to the little dumplings ward, she was propping up her chin with both hands, leaning on the windowsill looking below, mumbling in her mouth. "Strange, why hasn't brother come out yet?" A gentle voice sounded. "Hina!" Hina turned her head and smiled happily. "Sister Hanagaki!" Hanagaki placed the food on the coffee table in the ward and sat down on the sofa next to Yuki. "Speaking of which, is there still no trace of him?" Yuki's fingers flipping the book paused slightly, letting out an sound, her voice cold and elegant. "It's like he vanished into thin air. Just now I broke through the police department system and still couldn't pull out any valuable information at all. No rush, take it slow, there will always be a day when we find it," Hanagaki comforted. Coming out of the hospital, it was already 1 p.m. Just stepping out of the hospital entrance, a black Audi stopped right in front of me, the car window rolled down. Sato Masao was driving, and Yamada Fumiko was sitting in the passenger seat. "Your brother is waiting for us to go back for dinner, so I won't send you off." "Take a taxi back to school yourself," Sato Masao said, taking out a red bill from his wallet, just about to hand it over. Who knew? It was snatched away by Yamada Fumiko all at once. Yamada Fumiko looked at me haughtily, her voice biting. "Take what taxi? Is there nowhere else to spend too much money? It's not far from high school. Number 3, let him take the bus himself. Drive." After saying that, she rolled the car window up. Sato Masao wanted to say something more, but was glared back by her look, and subsequently drove away. "Heh," I laughed speechlessly. What a stark contrast between an Audi and a bus. Having just donated blood, my head was still a bit dizzy, so I simply sent a text message to the homeroom teacher asking for leave and skipped school in the afternoon directly. I was truly full of rage right now, in urgent need of venting. 15 minutes later, I stood here imposing with a gun in hand, a bloodthirsty cruelty in the depths of my eyes. Occasionally passers-by passed by, and after seeing the murderous aura all over my body, they silently bypassed me and walked away quickly. Right at this moment, I roared and raised the gun in my hand. The painting style suddenly changing as tense and exciting music sounded, zombies in the arcade screen continuously being shot to death by me. "All die for me! Task completed." The boss, seeing me venting like crazy, silently shrank to the side. Are young people's mental states like this nowadays? After a few rounds, I felt much better inside. At this moment, a Weibo trending topic suddenly popped up on my phone. Open Black Lens bracket Hacker Master 07 has re-emerged in the world close Black Lens bracket. Holy crap! I couldn't help but blurt out a swear word and excitedly tapped open this trending topic. That was a piece of real-time news. At around 11 a.m., the database of the City C Police Department system suffered an attack, and someone suspected that this was done by 07, the Internet Hacker Master from a few years ago. 5 years ago was the year 07 was most active on the network. Unlike other hackers, 07 did a lot of good deeds, and 5 years ago was also my lowest year. It was that year that I learned about the existence of the Hacker Master 07. 07 made me realize that there was still justice in this world. But what trick is the master playing now? The database? Could it be that the master is looking for someone? 07 is an extremely mysterious existence, with only one piece of information about them on the internet. Gender female, and nothing else is known. She is my idol. I wonder if I can witness the master's true face in my lifetime. I stuffed my phone back into my pocket and then walked toward home. Deep in the alley, with a creak, I pushed open the dilapidated iron gate. In the room on the left side of the single-story house, a pale, middle-aged woman lay there quietly, an oxygen mask still fitted over her nose. I tried hard to prop up a smile. "Mom, I'm back!" The woman didn't give any response. 5 years ago, my mom and I were kicked out of the Sato family, and Mom became a vegetative person, still not having woken up to this day. I walked forward, talking endlessly. "Mom, a lot of things happened today." I told the woman everything that happened, word for word. Standing up, I tucked in the corners of Mom's quilt. "Mom, from now on, I will protect you well. You don't need to worry about me. I'm going to prepare dinner. You sleep well." Turning around, when I passed by the bathroom mirror, I still froze slightly. I looked at that face in the mirror, covered my cheeks with my hand again, and briskly stepped past the mirror. Early one morning, I didn't sleep well last night and actually dreamed of Yuki's terrible face. In the dream, Yuki grabbed me and said she wanted to drain my blood. What kind of messy dream is this? I let my arms dangle, yawning while walking weakly toward the classroom. As soon as I walked into the classroom, the whole class instantly quieted down, and everyone turned their heads to look at me. What's the situation? Why are you here? I looked up at the class plaque. Class 6, Grade 10. That's right. 2 seconds later, the fanboys in the class exploded instantly, surrounding me directly. "Sato Ren, what is your relationship with Miss Yuki? Quote, where did you guys go yesterday? How do you know her? Spill it, spill it." Wait a minute, I retreated a big step abruptly. Can you guys talk one by one? Your saliva is about to spray me to death with all of you talking at once. A boy in class with his legs crossed opened his mouth eccentrically. "Sato Ren, no matter what methods you use to make Miss Yuki take a fancy to you, you are dead meat now." "What do you mean? Don't tell me you don't know? You have been expelled." A bolt from the blue? My eyes widened in shock. "What did you say?" "Expelling me on what grounds?" The boy looked at me with schadenfreude. "I wouldn't dare talk nonsense. This was said personally by the homeroom teacher yesterday afternoon." Just as he was talking, the homeroom teacher walked in. "Everyone, prepare to start class." I rushed over, grabbing the homeroom teacher's arm. "Teach, they said I was expelled. What's the situation?" The homeroom teacher pulled his arm away. "It's literally what it means. Your things have been packed up. Quickly take them and leave." "Why?" "Expelling you for unexcused truancy? Who else would be expelled?" I was extremely anxious, but I was forcibly dragged away by someone yesterday. You all saw it, and I asked you for leave in the afternoon. The homeroom teacher interrupted my words impatiently. All right, don't say any more. This is all the principal's idea, Sato Ren. You are expelled." I was completely dumbfounded. Right at this moment, a classmate walked into the classroom. "Sato Ren, someone outside is looking for you." I turned my head to look and found that Sato Masao was actually standing at the door. The sun came out from the west. Sato Masao would actually come to look for me in person? The moment his gaze met mine, Sato Masao enthusiastically, even with a trace of flattery, waved at me, signaling me to come out. Yesterday's slap was still fresh in my memory, if it were possible. I really wanted to pretend I didn't see him. "What's up?" I stepped forward, my tone not friendly at all. Being notified of expulsion by the school first thing in the morning, anyone would explode. "Well, Ren, can we talk?" "Talk about what?" "Talk about that slap yesterday? Yesterday was Dad's fault. Dad was too impulsive. Ren, don't take it to heart." Sato Masao said with a face full of guilt, "Isn't that why I came to look for you early this morning, wanting to apologize to you in person?" For some reason, my heart felt a bit sour. I lowered my head, pretending not to care, but in my heart, I was actually still longing for paternal love. "Go! Dad will take you out to find a place to have a good talk," Sato Masao said, slinging an arm around my shoulder and walking outward, and I didn't refuse. In the restaurant opposite High School Number 3, Sato Masao pointed at the menu. "Do you want to eat something? How about seafood fried rice? Your younger brother loves to eat this the most. He orders this every time he comes." I glanced at it. The price was my living expenses for 2 days. These were not the most important things. The important thing was that I am allergic to seafood. Every time I eat it, I break out in red rashes all over. A trace of confusion flashed across the depths of Sato Masao's eyes. "Then let's switch to braised chicken with potatoes. That should be fine, right?" I gave a soft response. After ordering the stuff, Sato Masao finally got to the main topic. "Ren, do you still remember that Miss Yuki from yesterday?" I tilted my head and thought for a moment, the little dumpling's cute little face instantly surfacing in my brain. I remember. Miss the Second's car accident was caused by our Sato family. Although Miss the Second is fine now, as you know, with the power of the Yuki family, if they really hold us accountable, our Sato group will suffer greatly. Sato Masao uneasily fidgeted with the watch on his wrist. Now the Yuki family has spoken out that as long as you go take care of Miss the Second for a month until Miss the Second completely recovers, the Yuki family won't hold us accountable. Hearing this, I finally understood something. Apologizing was all a front. The real purpose was right here. I actually whimsically thought that he suddenly discovered his conscience and started caring about me. I was incomparably furious inside, standing up directly. I'm not going. On what grounds should I pay for the mistake that woman committed? Ren, now only you can save our Sato family, Dad begs you. Dad, I am telling you clearly, I will not pay for that woman's mistake. I am no saint, nor am I that generous. Seeing that soft tactics didn't work, Sato Masao immediately changed his face. Don't forget, you have already been expelled by the school now. I looked at him in disbelief. My being expelled by the school, could it be that you played tricks behind the scenes? I was almost pissed to death. Where in the world is there a biological father who uses this kind of thing to threaten his own son? Dad is just reminding you, you have no school to attend now. But if you agree, then Dad will immediately transfer you to St. Saya Business Academy. You can go to St. Saya Business Academy for classes tomorrow. No need to stay in this kind of ordinary high school. St. Saya Business Academy was one of the top aristocratic academies in the country. The tuition fee for a single semester alone was enough to make many people flinch. I clenched my hand, still speaking resolutely. I said it, I am not going. That woman who caused Mom to become a vegetative person, that woman who caused him to have nothing, he wouldn't do anything for a woman like that. This was a matter of principle. Sato Ren. Sato Masao's hideous face finally showed, slapping the table as he stood up. I raised you to this age, and you aren't even willing to do such a tiny thing? Do you have any conscience at all? Even if I raised a dog to adulthood, it would know how to be grateful. I am telling you clearly, if you don't go, don't even think about getting another penny from me for your mom's surgery fees. She's having surgery next month, right? Without money, let's see how you support that woman. This sentence really stabbed my soft spot. Damn it, I really want to kill someone right now. I gritted my teeth tightly, my chest heaving violently, and after a long moment, I finally yielded. For the sake of my mom's well-being, I'll go! I was pulled away, staggering. In front of a European-style long table in the Shengshi Manor, an elegant girl sat there, eating her meal in a slow and orderly manner, the food complete with color, aroma, and taste. Yuki elegantly took a sip of soup, glancing at the little child sitting beside her, who was dragging her vegetables and poking her rice with chopsticks. Oh, Hina, are you counting rice grains? Wow, sister, how did you know? Hina is super good at math. I'll count for you to see. Saying so, Hina, in all seriousness, transported all the rice in her bowl into her sister's bowl, her mouth still chanting. 1, 2, 3, clack! Yuki snapped her chopsticks down on the bowl, leaning against the chair back behind her with arms folded, looking at her. Hina shook her small body and sat back slowly, placing both hands on her lap with a face full of obedience. Why aren't you continuing to count? Yuki's voice was cold and sexy. What did you say yesterday at the hospital? Not allowed to be a picky eater for a month. Did I? Hina only remembered that she bumped her head and didn't remember many things at all. Is that so? Then you better forget that person too. You won't see him for the rest of your life. Hina anxiously looked at her sister. Seeing her sister's ice-cold face, she sniffled aggrievedly and then tilted her head up, crying out with a wah. Sister is a baddie. You only know how to bully Hina. Sniff, I don't want sister anymore. Hina belonged to the kind of miraculous child who didn't cry easily, but once she cried, it was astounding and unstoppable no matter what was said. It was useless. What Yuki was least good at was probably dealing with little children. She cupped her forehead with a headache and then looked coldly at the servants on the side. Are you all sculptures? What are you standing there frozen for? Why don't you go comfort her? The servants comforted her in a flurry, but unfortunately Hina cried so hard that the heaven and earth split. The more they comforted her, the harder she cried. Oh, Hina, if you cry again, be careful that I really make it so you never see that person forever. Wah! The sound of crying rose by another notch. The servant was speechless inside. Big miss. At a time like this, can you stop adding fuel to the fire? Yuki continued coldly. I'm warning you, don't think about using crying to threaten me. You know I don't buy this trick. The servant wanted to cry without tears. I beg you, please stop talking. Right at this moment, the butler walked up. Mr. Sato is here. Before Yuki could speak, Hina's crying stopped instantly. Why aren't you continuing to cry? Yuki glanced sideways at Hina. The small dumpling's eye corners were still stained with crystal teardrops, blinking her bright eyes, but her voice with a crying tone revealed a trace of joy. Is the little brother really here? Quickly let him in? Wah, her tears were simply controllable at will. The butler was waiting for Yuki to speak, and Yuki unhurriedly wiped her mouth with a tissue. Let him in! Yes! The luxury of the Yuki family's villa simply blinded my eyes. It was that kind of exclamation from the deep depths of my heart. I am indeed a poor person. Such a big villa. Do people living inside really not get lost? From far away, I saw an extremely noble girl sitting by the dining table. Wow, wow, little brother. Hina happily wanted to bounce down from the wheelchair she was sitting on. Although the Yuki family had private doctors allowing her to be discharged home to rest, after losing so much blood yesterday and having thick bandages tied around her legs, she was directly wrapped into a small zangzi, unable to move at all without someone's help, making the little creature anxious as could be. Seeing the little angel Hina, I felt my heart was about to be melted with cuteness. I hurriedly went up to meet her, squatting down and opening my mouth with a beaming smile. Hina, how do you feel today? How come you got discharged so quickly? Looking at yesterday's severe appearance, I thought you'd stay in the hospital for several more days. Because Sister said the environment and doctors in the hospital were not as pleasing to the eye as at home, so this morning Hina came back to her own home to rest. Not as pleasing to the eye as at home? My mouth corners twitched. I turned my head to look at the girl behind me, scratched the hair at my temples, and only then opened my mouth politely. Well, my dad told me everything. I will take good care of Hina during this month until her leg injury is completely healed. Yamada Fumiko drove and hit Hina into this state, to be honest. Just having me take care of the small dumpling for a month as compensation was really letting the Sato group off cheap. But there was no choice. Who asked Hina to clamor from morning to night to see this little brother who donated blood to her? Yuki cold-heartedly retracted her gaze, incomparably nobility picking up the soup spoon to continue drinking soup as if she couldn't hear my words. I smiled on the surface but swore in my heart. So impolite. The butler standing on the side was very insightful, opening his mouth to resolve the awkwardness. Mr. Sato, you hurry and persuade Miss the Second. She was originally weak in body because of yesterday's car accident and needed nourishment, but our Miss the Second is famous for being a picky eater. No one's persuasion works. Just now, because of the matter of eating, she was even yelled at until she cried by Big Miss. Only then did I discover that teardrops were indeed still hanging from the small dumpling's eye corners. My gaze fell upon those rich foods on the dining table again, understanding everything. Before I came, I had already figured out my positioning clearly, standing up very consciously. Excuse me, can I borrow the kitchen for a bit? Seeing that Yuki didn't refuse, the butler nodded. Please follow me. 15 minutes later, I carried a small tray upstairs. Looking closely, on the tray, foods were actually used to piece together many cartoon shapes. For example, using rice and seaweed, several small bear-shaped rice balls were molded. Carrots and some vegetables were cut into shapes of small trees and flowers. Piecing together a plate of food like this became extremely interesting, and the overall appearance value went up too. Hina, look! Hina's two eyes shone brightly. Wow! Do you want to taste this? Okay. Hina nodded desperately, and then ate extremely happily. Hina was a good child who didn't hold grudges, turning her head cutely to look at Yuki. Sister, do you want to taste this rice ball? It's super delicious, Yuki sneered disdainfully. Naive! It's all made of rice. It's just changing a pattern, molding it into the shape of a pig, and you think it's delicious? Damn it! This is clearly molded into a small bear, okay? A small bear! Hina took a bite, her small mouth bulging. But it's really delicious. Hina, this kind of food, Only someone with your intelligence can appreciate it. My temples throbbed wildly. Where's my knife? I opened my mouth unconvincingly. But facts prove that Hina just really likes to eat it. Yuki didn't speak. What I said was, indeed right. Hina's picky eating was the thing that gave the entire Yuki family the biggest headache. This person casually changed a pattern and coaxed Hina. She had already finished her meal, picking up an exquisite teacup to sip tea elegantly. You should be glad that the things you made can temporarily fool her, so that it doesn't make you look too useless. I really want to buckle the teapot in front of me onto this exquisite yet punchable face. Tricky venomous snake. Hina, on the side, had already buried her head and wiped out almost everything I made. Patted her small belly and couldn't help speaking up. Sister, don't say that about brother. Listen, listen. Hina is simply a little angel. How could a cold person like Yuki have such a little angel? It's simply a world miracle. She glanced coldly, turned around, and took her long legs walking toward the second floor, instructing the servant while walking. Brew a cup of coffee and send it to my room. There is a new program to be written this afternoon. Don't anyone come annoy me. Hina comforted in all seriousness. Little brother, don't lower yourself to my sister's level. She is actually a very good person. Good? I really didn't see where she's good. I curled my lips, arrogant and venomous-tongued, covered all over with the appearance of an evil capitalist. And besides, little brother. Hina pulled my sleeve, pointing weakly behind me. Before I could turn my head, I was shrouded in a gloomy air pressure. No way? Like a machine, I turned my head little by little, and when matching Yuki's fair and delicate face, I was startled. Ah! Yuki expressionlessly raised her eyebrows, her voice faint. And besides what? Continue talking. I racked my brains to speak. I'm saying that although you are arrogant and venomous-tongued, you are pretty, having the looks if needed, having the talent if needed. Who can teach me how to flatter someone? Waiting online, pretty urgent. I scratched my hair. Are there others? When I remember, I'll tell you again, deal? Yuki picked up the computer that was forgotten on the side just now, giving me a meaningful look. Hina looked cutely at Yuki, her voice crisp. Older sister, can you tidy up a room for the little brother to live in? Responding to her was an extremely calm voice. No. Why? Hina pouted. Didn't you agree that until his leg injury heals, the little brother would accompany him? Because I don't want to live under the same roof with an idiot who even tries to suck up and kicks the horse's hoof. I was speechless for a moment, saying it as if I was dying to move in. Yuki was working, and the whole afternoon I indeed didn't see him again, not even at dinner time, when I made an original children's dinner for the little bun, which the little bun ate with incomparable happiness. Hina, doesn't your older sister need to go to class? Last time it seemed I heard someone say she's only 19 years old. Hina shook her head. When my older sister was in the second year of high school, she had already been recommended to university, so going to school or not now is the same. We are both people. Why is the gap so big? My grades cannot be counted as bad, but it is definitely not the kind of level where I can be directly recommended to university. Let's not even mention it's the nation's top university. Ah, God is truly unfair. He almost gave all the beautiful things to that girl upstairs. Turning my head to glance at the time, it was already 8 p.m. I stood up. Hina, older brother is going home. Hina hurriedly put down her food, her dark and bright eyes looking at me nervously. Then will you come tomorrow? Of course I will. I smiled and pinched her little nose. I will always take care of you until your legs completely recover. This was also the deal I reached with that person. I come to take care of the little bun for a month, and that person transfers me to Sei Academy and will provide the fees for mom's treatment surgery. Speaking of which, tomorrow I should go report to Sei Academy. Today I somewhat need to go back and prepare. It's just a pity that starting tomorrow, older brother also has to go study. I'm afraid only after school and during holidays can I come to look after you for a bit. Then tomorrow, won't Hina be able to eat the breakfast made by the little brother? You won't eat it? I blinked at the little bun. If you don't believe it, wake up and take a look tomorrow. Hina's face was full of expectation, and her eyes were also sparkling. After I left, the little bun instantly changed from a spirited state to a deflated balloon. The servant pushed her wheelchair to the second floor. Hina knocked on Yuki's door, pushed it open, poked her little head in. Older sister, Hina is going to sleep. Can you tell Hina a story to listen to? Yuki had just finished writing the program, his exquisite face stained with a trace of fatigue. He stood up and raised his hand to turn off the lamp on the desk. All right, I'll tell you a story. After coaxing the younger sister to sleep, it was already 10 p.m. Yuki finally felt a trace of malice. She went downstairs to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, and looked. In the most conspicuous position was a plate. Aside was my signature children's meal. As long as it's slightly heated tomorrow morning, it can be eaten. This was what that person made for Hina. Slender and fair fingers picked up the rice ball that had been mocked by her during the day. Ghost-like Yuki bit into a bite. Ugly! Saying so, Yuki still ate up the whole rice ball, bite by bite. Early morning uniform okay, textbooks okay, hairstyle I grabbed my hair, everything okay, let's set off. Today the weather was not good, a drizzle was falling, afraid of traffic jams. I woke up an hour early, caught the earliest bus, and then got off at the stop closest to the school, walking to the school on foot. At the entrance of Seiya Academy, in the front passenger seat of a black Audi car, sat a handsome-looking boy. What did you say? Dad, why do you want to transfer that person to the same school as me? Why? Masao Sato had a sincere expression as he tried to coax Saimei. Don't be angry first. Pay more attention to your image. You now have some fame to some extent. Be careful of paparazzi taking pictures of you. If not mentioning this, it would be fine, but once mentioning this, Saimei Sato was so angry that his face was all wrinkled together. Fame? Stop joking around! In the past 2 years, apart from bad movies, my resources are just some small advertisements that no one watches. With this appearance of mine, even if I walk down the street without sunglasses, does anyone know me? Still talking about sneak shots? Saimei's aggressive tone was exactly the same as his biological mother, Fumiko's. I call you dad after all. Is this how you treat me? You never helped me fight for good resources. And now you even want to make that jinx come to the same school as me? Are you planning to bring him and that immortal vegetable mom of his together to move into the Sato family? Ah, Ming, I know you want to become a big star, but the entertainment circle right now is not as easy to mix in as you think. Even if you have money, without connections and interpersonal relationships, it is still useless. Masao Sato spoke with difficulty. In the past 2 years, to fulfill his precious son's star dream, Masao Sato really tried hard, sending out a lot of money, but based on his social status, he just couldn't contact big directors, let alone some good resources. What could he do? Sometimes whether one can become famous or popular really depends on fate. Saimei, full of fame and anger, wished he could smash everything in his hands onto the ground. 5 years ago, he could become popular, but now switch to me, it doesn't work. I think you are just doing it on purpose. My mom and I suffered so much hardship and grievance in the early years. Dad, have you forgotten all of it? As soon as Masao Sato saw Saimei throwing a tempered tantrum, he instantly coaxed him. Dad knows he wronged you and your mom, so he wants to double compensate the two of you, mother and son. Now in this family, what isn't decided by your mom? Whatever you want, Dad buys it for you without a second word, like this, and you still want to blame Dad? Masao Sato was extremely helpless. Haven't I been explaining all along? It's all because your mom drove and hit the second young miss of the Kuroba family, and they specifically named your older brother to go take care of the second young miss. If I didn't use some means to give your older brother some sweetness, would he obediently listen to me? He is not my older brother. I don't have an older brother like that. Saimei became more and more angry as he spoke. All right, no. Masao Sato yielded to Saimei's words. My precious son, stop being angry, okay? Dad understands your mood of wanting to be a big star. Dad will work hard to pull more resources for you. We are still young. Be patient, and you will eventually wait for the day you explode in popularity, don't you think? As for your older brother, at school you just pretend not to know him anyway. Dad's most important person is only you. Really? Saimei frowned. Masao Sato smiled and comforted. Of course it's real. All right, hurry up and go to school. Take your umbrella and don't get wet. Saimei then pushed open the car door, held up his umbrella and walked toward the school. From afar, he saw that familiar and annoying figure. Saimei curled his lip, holding the umbrella and walking up quickly. On this side, I felt like I walked 80,000 miles and finally reached the school gate. Because I walked in the rain for a long time, My shoes were all wet and a bit disheveled. Suddenly, someone hit me hard. Lunging forward, the umbrella in my hand fell to the ground. I frowned and turned around. The next second, I was directly stunned. Seimei, compared to my disheveled state, this half-brother of mine actually appeared much more composed. The surrounding classmates saw Seimei and me, one after another walking while turning their heads to look. Ah, isn't that Seimei from the first year of high school? He looks so handsome. I heard he's filmed a lot of commercials. Who is that boy next to him? I've never seen him before. Why do the two of them look like they have a conflict? And then suddenly lowered voices. Hey, did you see that? That boy has a very long scar on his face. Good heavens. My heart panicked. I hurriedly grabbed the hair at my temples to cover the scar on my forehead. Even though it was covered by my hair, it could still faintly leak out. At a glance, it was shocking to the eye. In these 5 years, what I feared most was others looking at me with the eyes of treating me like a monster. Seimei looked at my embarrassed appearance and enjoyed it very much, a burst of satisfaction in his heart. Ren, you deserve it. The rain was still falling desperately, wetting my face bit by bit. A wave of desolation surged in my heart. Just at this moment, the rainwater above my head was suddenly blocked. I raised my head, looking astonished at the umbrella held over my head, and then shifted my gaze onto the gentle girl in front of me. I opened my mouth wide. It's you! The surroundings instantly boiled. Yui, the school belle Yui, is also breathtakingly beautiful today. Her smile is so warm. Wait a second. Why is the school belle shielding that boy from the rain? The small umbrella enveloped Yui and me in a small space. Her school uniform was spotless. Her exquisite and soft face died with a faint smile. Her voice clear, clean and beautiful. The rain is getting heavier and heavier. If you don't hold an umbrella, you'll catch a cold. TH. Thank you. Yui smiled faintly. How come every time we meet, your opening line is always this sentence? Is there? It seems indeed so. Just compared to that day, her neat, high ponytail still carried a trace of heroic spirit amidst her gentle beauty. This was the second time meeting. Every time she was just like an angel. Seimei on the side was dumbfounded. Yui, how do the two of you... Who can tell him what the situation is? Why does the school belle know someone like Ren? Yui was one of the 3 most famous school belles of Seiya Academy. Yui acted as if she couldn't see Seimei, her gaze focused solely on me. Are you newly transferred to Seiya Academy today? I nodded. Which class? Class 4 of the first year. I'll send you to the classroom. Seiya is very big. If it's your first time coming, it's easy to get lost. Thank you. I looked at her, a wave of warmth surging in my heart. I had long heard that Seiya was as big as a maze, divided into several districts. If I searched blindly myself, who knows how long it would take. So amidst the gazes of envy, jealousy, and hatred from a crowd of people, Yuash held an umbrella and walked away side by side with me. How could this be? Why does the school belle take such good care of that person? By what right is Ren ignored? Seimei on the side was so angry he could launch an attack on the spot. Water drops pattered against the umbrella. Walking on the campus, I slightly turned my head, looking at the gentle girl beside me. By the way, I still don't know your name. My name is Ren. Yui repeated my surname. Ren? What's wrong? Nothing. Just feel that you look very much like someone. Yui's fair and pretty fingers held the black umbrella, turned her head over, and uttered a name. Summer. 5 years ago, 3 children only in their early 10s formed an idol group and officially entered the entertainment circle. The name of this group was Midsummer Light Years, and that boy named Summer was the leader in this group. At that time, the 3 children in the Midsummer Light Years group instantly became popular throughout the entire country, with their handsome appearances and unique singing voices. It's a pity that good times didn't last long. In just a year's time, the leader of Midsummer Light Years, Summer, suddenly had news of a car accident, and disfigurement spread out, and since then completely withdrew from the entertainment circle, with no news at all to this day. That once immensely popular idol group also gradually faded from people's sight. Hearing Yui call out the name Summer, I couldn't help but pause. Do you know him? I hurriedly turned my face away. Never heard of him, is that so? He used to be a star, very popular. I don't pay much attention to the entertainment circle, let alone things from so long ago. The drizzling rain sound accompanied a trace of desolation. Yui didn't continue chatting about this topic. The two of them had already walked to the entrance of the teaching building. She put away the umbrella and warmed up, saying, "Going up from here, is it?" I also waved at her, bidding a simple farewell. Thinking of Yui's words just now, I pondered for a while, took out my own phone from my pocket, hesitated for a moment, opened Weibo, and logged into an account named Summer that hadn't been logged into for a very, very long time. On the account's verification information, it clearly wrote Midsummer Light Years Group, leader and singer. This Weibo hasn't updated any new content for 5 years. Looking at the number of people visiting the homepage yesterday, it was only 100 or 2. The entertainment circle is such a rapidly changing place. 5 years of time is enough to completely forget a person. I lowered my eyes. Once immensely popular, so what? Aren't I still left with nothing now? The phone suddenly rang. I was startled. "Hello?" Opposite was a clear voice. "Ren!" The boy on the other end of the phone was called Yasukawa, my sworn buddy who grew up playing with me since childhood. "How have you been recently?" "Fairly well, just barely surviving," I said with a burst of helplessness. "Calling me at this hour, aren't you not allowed to bring phones during school hours?" In the neighboring city, Yasukawa had just finished exercises. "I didn't go to school today, I'm self-studying at home." And then suddenly remembered just now, from that contract 5 years ago, only 3 months of the time limit are left. And how come you sound so calm? 5 years ago, that Sime committed suicide out of jealousy of you, making your dad spend money to personally ban you, and even releasing news that you quit the entertainment circle because you were disfigured in a car accident. Actually, all of this is a conspiracy. Yasukawa opened his mouth resentfully with the tone of a standard fanboy. I couldn't help being amused. Hey, classmate Yasukawa. Obviously, I'm the person involved. How come you're even angrier than me? I'm just feeling unfair for you. Yes, 5 years ago was the year that completely changed my destiny. It was in this year that Mom, because she couldn't stand the family destruction of the Mistress Fumiko, jumped from a building to commit suicide and became a vegetable. It was in this year that I was banned by the agency under the name of car accident disfigurement and had to cooperate with the economic company to disguise the appearance of car accident sequelae. In these 5 years, I could no longer advance as a star and appear in front of the public, otherwise I would have to compensate for huge liquidated damages. It was in this year that I was completely driven out of the Sato family by stepmother Fumiko. It was in this year that I, from a wealthy young master free of food and clothing and a national idol, turned into a good-for-nothing who could only completely hide his identity and be sneered at by anyone. There are still 3 months. Yasukawa emphasized, there are still 3 months, and you can be free from the constraints of that contract and hide your identity. In a few days, I'll be moving back to Z City. Unfan is also returning to China soon. By then, the 3 of us can gather together again. Yasukawa's voice revealed expectation. Yasukawa and I were real-life sworn buddies, while Unfan was a good buddy I got to know from the internet when Yasukawa and I played games, whom I hadn't met yet because Unfan studied abroad, but it was said he was about to return to China, and Unfan's home was also in Z City. What you said is all true! I was also a bit excited. Being able to stay together with good friends was a very refreshing thing, wasn't it? Chatting with Yasukawa for a while, I looked at the time and spoke hurriedly. I won't talk to you first. Too many things happened these past 2 years. When we meet, we'll talk face to face. Hanging up first. There were still 10 minutes before class started. I didn't want to be late for the first class. Suddenly, a powerful aura enveloped towards this side. No good, this feeling is. Outside the washroom at the sink, soft orange lights poured down. Yuki was lowering her eyes, washing her hands. My goodness, it really was her. I don't know why. This girl Yuki was far too noble, always having a high and mighty aura that could only be viewed from afar. Every time I saw her, I inexplicably felt somewhat, Yuki! Ha ha ha, what a coincidence. You came to the restroom yourself? As soon as I finished speaking, I felt something was not quite right. Yuki just gave a cold glance without speaking. Uninteresting fellow. Right. Hearing Hina say Yuki had already been recommended to university, so coming to school or not is optional, and Yuki is so young. She is already running a company, so she must be very busy normally. I also stepped forward, washing my hands while I couldn't help but ask, "Why did you come to school today? I thought you wouldn't come to school directly anymore." "Mind your own business," Yuki said, crumpling the paper into a ball, tossing it into the trash can, and turning to leave. I looked at her angrily. "Class 1C, this is definitely the place." I checked the class plaque and pushed open the door. The originally lively classroom instantly fell dead silent, and everyone turned to look at me. "Hello everyone, my name is Ren. I just transferred to this class today. I hope we can get along well in the future." A boy sitting at the very front with a temper sneered coldly. "Ren, what are you pretending for there? Now in the whole Seiya Academy, who doesn't know your famous name, Ren?" "Exactly! Daring to hook up with our school belle Yui in broad daylight. Why don't you look in the mirror to see your own demeanor?" Let me tell you guys, when I passed by the restroom just now, I actually saw Miss Yuki, and this Ren was actually hitting on our school belle Yuki again. The little fanboys of Yuki in the class were first pleasantly surprised that Yuki came to school today, because Yuki rarely ever comes to school, making it truly rare to see her, but then they were enraged by the sentence that followed. "My God, he actually dares to seduce school belle Yuki? Absolutely unacceptable." Seimei was also in this class, feeling extremely triumphant as he watched me get mocked by so many people. I stood at the doorway, watching the whole class laugh together, tightening my grip on my backpack strap. My originally raised smile also gradually faded away, and no longer paying attention to these people. I walked in coldly, picking an empty seat in the back row with no one around to sit down casually. He actually reacted like this again. Seimei, sitting in front, glared at me furiously, failing to make me angry and instead getting himself quite enraged. What he hated most was this appearance of mine. What kind of generosity was I pretending to have? He didn't believe that a disfigured person hated by so many people wouldn't get angry. In his heart, he was probably already dying of anger, pretending not to care on the surface. What a hypocrite. During break time, I stood up to go to the WC, turning the corner to go downstairs, when unexpectedly the next second I directly bumped into someone. Raising my head, I was extremely speechless. "Seimei, what do you want to do again? I don't have time to engage in a verbal battle with you." Saying so, I tried to step around him. Seimei grabbed my arm abruptly. "Ren, you'd better honestly spill what relationship you have with Yuki, otherwise I'll have someone break your legs." "What relationship I have with her? How is it any of your business?" "Still daring to be stubborn." Seimei looked at me fiercely with a somewhat hideous expression. "I warn you, don't be ungrateful for the face you're given. Yuki is my future girlfriend, you stay far away from her." I smiled coldly, deliberately antagonizing him. "Forgot to tell you, I see Yuki every day and her younger sister super likes me too." Seimei was so angry that he swung his fist wanting to hit me, who knew that his wrist would be caught by me and then thrown to the side. Right at this moment, talking voices came from down the stairs as several classmates walked up laughing and chatting. Seimei gasped loudly, hastily stepping backward down the stairs himself. Accompanied by a scream, Seimei rolled directly to the bottom of the stairs. "No way!" I was dumbfounded. "Gosh, what happened here?" "Seimei! Seimei! Hurry up and take him to the hospital." The surrounding classmates turned into a chaotic mess. Supported by a group of classmates, Seimei sat up, his eyes filled with grievance. "Ren, why did you push me?" My brain was blank for a second, and I could only instinctively retort, "You're talking nonsense. I didn't push you at all." "Still claiming you didn't? We all saw it with our own eyes." "That's right. It was you who pushed Seimei down the stairs. We saw it with our own eyes." The people around were all defending Seimei against the injustice, while Seimei, covered in injuries, kept his head down, but upon hearing the surrounding voices condemning me, the corner of his mouth curved up imperceptibly. I frowned. "I didn't push him. If you don't believe it, you can pull up the surveillance footage to take a look." "Oh no, forgot about the surveillance." Seimei's face darkened, and he simply closed both eyes to play dead. Gosh, Seimei fainted. Inside a VIP ward in the hospital. "Get in here!" Masao Sato was furious, pointing at Seimei, who was comfortably lying on the hospital bed at this moment. "Look at what you've done to your brother. Did you eat bear heart and leopard gall or eat pig fat to blind your heart to dare push him?" My shoulder was gripped with painful pressure. To be honest, when I was mocked by the whole class today for being an ugly monster, I wasn't that sad. But at this second, my heart was aching severely. "I said I didn't push him. He rolled down by himself." Sime immediately protested. If you didn't push me, did I want to injure myself on purpose? Why would I do that? The door of the ward was suddenly pushed open and Fumiko walked in hastily with an anxious expression. Baby, are you okay? Where were you hurt? Hurry and let Mom see. In a moment, Fumiko turned her head. Even her heavily made-up face couldn't conceal that mean and harsh expression. It's you again, Ran! How dare you push my son down the stairs! I see you don't want to live anymore. I must beat you to death today. I clenched my fists and looked at her coldly. Try hitting me once if you dare. You! Fumiko pointed at me, suddenly wailing as she looked at Masao Sato. Husband, look at the good son you raised with your ex-wife. Is he trying to force us mother and son to death? The two of us will pack our things and leave the Sato family right now. Masao Sato jumped with rage. Looking around his surroundings, he picked up an ornament on the bedside table and threw it toward me, roaring, Why haven't you apologized to your aunt and Sime? Disappointed to the extreme, I smiled instead, stubbornly opening my mouth. I didn't commit any wrong. Why should I apologize? Fine, you wait for me. I must beat you today until you give in. Saying so, Masao Sato furiously looked left and right, picking up a chair nearby to step forward. Bang! The door of the ward was suddenly pushed open by someone. Masao Sato's movement paused. He turned to look, and standing at the doorway were many bodyguards. These bodyguards were all dressed in black uniforms, neat and orderly, looking very intimidating at a glance. Where did these bodyguards come from? Masao Sato panicked for a moment, then pulled a long face and scolded angrily. Who are you? This is my son's ward. Please get out immediately. The lead bodyguard glanced at me, confirmed without error, and made a gesture to the bodyguards behind him. Go! The bodyguards swarmed up together, starting to frantically smash everything in the ward. The flowers placed in front of the bed were torn apart. The thermos brought by Fumiko was slammed onto the ground. Inside was the soup brewed for Simi, spilling all over the floor. Simi's backpack was also unzipped with a clatter, all textbooks falling out. Who are you? Stop! All of you stop! Sime yelled loudly. Fumiko's face turned ash pale, holding her son while shouting loudly, Crazy! You all gone crazy! What kind of bandits are you? I'm gonna call the police! A bodyguard snatched the chair that Masao Sato was about to smash onto me. Throwing it with full force, the chair grazed past Sime's face and then smashed onto the ground with a bang, declaring its retirement. Sime's face turned pale instantly, his whole body frozen on the spot. A slight scratch on his cheek was bleeding. All of this came far too unexpectedly. Masao Sato snapped back to reality, pushed past me, and rushed to the front of the bed. Sime, are you okay? Who are they? Scared me to death. That chair almost hit me just now. Will I be disfigured? My face! This time he was no longer pretending, but was genuinely terrified. I was also dumbfounded. What on earth was this situation? Where did these bodyguards come from? Who knew that the bodyguards had no intention of bullying me throughout the whole process? One bodyguard even brought a chair over for me. Mr. Ren, please take a seat. It was completely an attitude of inviting me to watch a show. I was totally baffled. What on earth were they doing? Who are you people after all? Masao Sato looked furious. My son's face was injured by you. He is a star. Who knows when he might have an appearance? If you injure him, can you bear the responsibility? Fumiko also strained her voice and cursed. Where did you little scum pop out from? Do you know my son gets tens of thousands for a single appearance? How dare you make our place such a mess? I'm calling the police right now. None of you leave. Stay behind and pay for damages. The lead bodyguard boss, wearing a Bluetooth headset, walked to the edge of the windowsill, meticulously repeating the words just spoken. Miss, the other party says Simi is a star, getting tens of thousands for a single appearance. In the Kuroba family villa, sitting on the sofa, was a supremely noble girl, leaning sideways with an overbearing momentum. Her exquisite profile was extremely defined. Her slender hand holding a tall glass, Yuki tilted her head back and drank the red wine in one gulp, then casually tossed the glass onto the coffee table, revealing a hint of playfulness. Keep beating them for me until it reaches 1 million. Yes, the bodyguard turned around, making a gesture to a few of the bodyguards. Do it! Sime shrank back in fear, clearly feeling that these bodyguards were coming for him. What do you want to do? Don't come over! Don't come over! Mom, hurry up and call the police! Before the words even landed, Sime was slapped hard across the face, his face burning with pain. Sime! Masao Sato and Fumiko wanted to step forward, but were surrounded outside, layer by layer. Masao Sato shouted anxiously, "Move out of the way! What do you want to do? Come at me if you have anything, Sime." Fumiko also lost her composure. Living for over 30 years, she had never encountered something like today. Sime covered his face, full of disbelief. He had always been held in the palm of their hands by Masao Sato and Fumiko, let alone getting beaten. He hadn't even heard a few harsh words. "You dare to hit me?" Sime glared at them. Slap! Another slap! The bodyguard looked serious, completely carrying out routine business. The sound of slapping echoed continuously in the ward. The helpless yelling of Masao Sato and Fumiko and the crying screams of Sime all blended together. I stood silently not far away, watching Sime take several slaps, looking somewhat unhinged. Did Sime offend someone? Or did the Sato family offend someone? Hello, 110? This is room 5909 of Renhua Hospital. Masao Sato had already started calling the police. Watching Sime take so many slaps, his heart was dripping blood. "If you are enemies of the Sato family, please don't hit our Sime. Go hit him. He is also my husband's son," Fumiko said as she pointed anxiously at me on the side. "Go hit him however you want. Anyway, Ren can take a beating. Let my Sime go. I beg of you." Masao Sato nodded desperately. Yes, go hit Ren, go hit him! I was stunned. This was my biological father? Ha ha! How ridiculous, how ironic. Curving my lips in self-mockery, I stepped back, step by step, then turned around and walked out of here without looking back. The lead bodyguard chased out, looking at my back, broadcasting live to his young miss, Mr. Ren seems very sad. He is heading toward Ningxia Road now. Got it. Yuki responded faintly. Should we go pick him up back to the manor? He seems to be in a very bad mood. Haina's little head was trying hard to press against Yuki's side. Listening to the phone call, hearing this, she hurriedly nodded her head. Want to. Yuki, however, parted her red lips slightly, spitting out 2 words. No need. Why? Hina grew anxious. Sister, didn't you hear that little brother is in a very bad mood? Hanging up the phone, Yuki's expression didn't change much. There is no why. Helping him this time was only for your sake. Listen up, Hina. My kindness toward him ends here. The sky was gloomy, distant dark clouds, layer by layer, coming toward this side. Wind started to howl. Lightning, accompanied by thunder. It was gonna rain. Everyone was rushing on their way. I walked aimlessly on the street alone. The surrounding neon lights gradually lit up, night approaching. Please let my Sime go. Go hit Ren. He is also my son. This sentence was like a curse, constantly echoing in my ears. How tragic. Next is the latest weather forecast of our city. A super typhoon is about to land in Wu City. It is understood that this is the strongest wind force and most destructive typhoon in the past 2 years. Citizens, please take protective measures. Hina was leaning on the sofa playing with an iPad. Hearing this, she immediately raised her bright eyes, looking nervous. Sister, do you think little brother has reached home now? Yuki's eyes were fixed on the TV. On the screen, the host was facing the wind, face almost blown out of shape, painstakingly making a live report from a street in this city. Sister! Hina forcefully waved her small hand in front of Yuki. Who would still be active outside in this kind of weather? An idiot would know to hide. Saying so, Yuki reached out to change the channel. Who knew the next second? A familiar figure appeared behind the reporter. Yuki narrowed both eyes. Hina pointed at the TV in surprise. Was that figure just now, little brother? Yuki turned off the TV with a cold face, casually getting up. Was that really little brother just now? It's so dangerous outside now, sister. Are you gonna pick him up? I said just now my kindness toward him ends here. I'm not that man's driver. On what ground should I go pick him up? Yuki went up to the 2nd floor with a dark face. What should be done? Is little brother in danger? Hina was anxious beyond measure, pondering whether to call the Kuroba family driver over. to see if they could pick little brother back up. Who knew that Yuki went to the second floor for less than 5 minutes before coming downstairs again with a cold face, holding car keys in her hand? Sister! Hina's eyes sparkled. Are you going to pick up little brother? Who said I'm going to pick him up? Yuki said with righteous conviction. I'm just going out for a walk. Hina's iPad was currently showing Detective Conan. Sister, actually, you don't need to disguise in front of me. I understand. Hina, wise beyond her years, pushed imaginary glasses on the bridge of her nose. Conan's classic background music sounded. Hina's baby voice matching Conan's classic line. There is always only one truth. That is, Butler lie. Take out the test paper the school just distributed today for her. If she doesn't finish it, she's not allowed to sleep. Don't! Hina's words aren't finished yet. The truth is, sister, you are indeed going out for a walk. Yuki had already put on her shoes, bestowing a high and mighty glance at Hina. Good that you know. I sat on the steps of a shopping mall by the roadside, a place that could barely shield from wind and rain. My home was very far from the city center. Public transit had stopped, and hardly any cars could be seen on the road. The Sato family's home was actually in a high-end residential community right nearby, except that starting 5 years ago, it was no longer my home. A red Lamborghini made a handsome drift, coming to a steady stop in front of me. The car window rolled down, revealing an extraordinarily beautiful face. Looking straight ahead, Yuki spoke in a commanding voice. Get in! I raised my head with a face full of surprise. Yuki, why are you here? Yuki's expression remained unchanged, her voice steady. Just happened to pass by. But this street seems to be in a different direction from the Kuroba Villa? While I was still confused, Yuki had already opened the car door. Stepped forward, grabbed my arm, opened the passenger side without expression, pushed me in unceremoniously, slammed the car door with a bang, opened the driver's door to sit in, skillfully shifted gears and drove away. Yuki, what on earth do you want to do? Yuki glanced at me sideways. Outside the car, wind and rain raged as night completely fell. Inside the car, no lights were on, with only the street lights outside barely illuminating my doorway. Under such dim, looming light, my dark skin couldn't be seen, and the scar was also hidden by the night. Yuki's face softened a bit, and she tossed a handkerchief over to me from the side. Wipe off the rainwater? I looked at her in surprise, not expecting this demon young lady to have such a thoughtful side as well. Who knew that Yuki would add another cold, indifferent sentence? Don't dirty my car! As expected, one shouldn't hold any hope for a deadly tsundere. Even so, I still said thanks to Yuki. Yuki snorted coldly, tsundere and arrogant as ever. Just picking up a human life along the way, I'll just count it as doing a good deed. Saying so, she even specially emphasized the phrase, along the way. Alright, this was very Yuki. The next day, I yawned deeply and woke up in a luxuriously extravagant European-style room. What's the situation? I snapped my eyes open, looked around at my surroundings, and only then accepted the fact that I had stayed overnight at the Kuroba Villa yesterday. Checking the time, it was already 6:30. Shoot! If I don't hurry up, I won't have time to prepare breakfast for Hina! Hurriedly jumping out of bed, I rushed into the bathroom for a quick cleanup. Half an hour later, carrying the prepared children's meal, I walked out of the kitchen. Just as I brought it out, I discovered that Hina had woken up at some point, wearing pink little pajamas, sitting obediently at the dining table. Seeing me walk out, she smiled brightly, showing her little white teeth. Good morning, little brother. Hina, why are you up? I was a bit surprised. Because I felt little brother's food calling out to me. Hina clapped her hands merrily on the dining table. Pfft! Amused by her cute appearance. I smiled. Here you go. Last night I wanted to wait for little brother to come back, who knew that while waiting I fell asleep. Is that so? Wait, why would you wait for me to come back? I blinked my eyes, my expression somewhat confused, munching on breakfast. Hina spoke indistinctly. Wasn't it because of yesterday's typhoon? Sister, she, quote, What about me? A cold and sexy voice came over. Yuki had actually come downstairs at some point, standing there with her arms crossed, looking at Hina with an exceptionally amiable gaze. Hina immediately put on a serious little face and turned to look at her. Sister was very beautiful yesterday, and even more beautiful today. As expected of Hina's sister, I admire you the most." "Good girl." Yuki patted Hina's little head with satisfaction. The maid came to the kitchen at the usual time, only to find both young ladies of the house had already woken up. The Kuroba family had very fixed meal times, yet today it was a whole half-hour early. "Miss, please wait, we'll prepare breakfast right away." Yuki pulled out a chair and sat down with utmost elegance. "No need." "You mean, is there already something made?" As Yuki spoke, her deep, beautiful eyes darted toward my side. I looked down at the sandwich I had casually made for myself while preparing Hina's breakfast earlier. Quickly pulling the food toward me, I said, "No way! This is mine!" "Everything here belongs to your family. Ask the maid to make something for you." "Are you giving it or not?" Yuki looked at me, her eyes filled with threats, looking completely like, "This young lady eating your food is the greatest gift to you." Wanting to cry without tears, I handed it to her reluctantly. I stared wide-eyed as Yuki gracefully ate the sandwich and drank the milk, and then even made a slow evaluation. "Flavor is a bit bland. Pay attention next time." With a fake smile, I replied, "You can choose not to eat it. I worked hard all morning, and I'm still hungry right now." Yuki snorted coldly. "School has a temporary matter. I need to leave half an hour early today. Otherwise, do you think I really want to eat the kind of stuff you make?" "What do you mean, the kind of stuff I make?" I really wanted to curse at her. What was she being so tsundere about? Right at this moment, the butler came up. Miss Yui is here." Why did this name sound so familiar? Turning my head to look, I stared in surprise at the gentle, beautiful girl walking over. Seeing that I was there, Yui was clearly taken aback for a moment, then curved her lips into a smile. "Student Ren, why are you here?" It was actually Yui, who had helped hold an umbrella for me before I could speak. A certain female demon head blurted out coldly, "He is our family's new manservant." Refusing to accept it, I argued, "What manservant? I'm only responsible for taking care of Hina for a month." "Taking care of Hina?" Yui turned her gaze toward Hina, who was happily eating breakfast, and connecting it to the events of recent days, she understood instantly. She smiled softly. The world is so small after all. Sitting down opposite Yuki, Yui looked at me standing aside. "Aren't you sitting?" Sitting there arrogantly, Yuki raised her noble eyelids and glanced at me. A manservant should have the awareness of a manservant. Sit for what? Completely different from the "I am the supreme ruler" tsundere look on Yuki. Yui's facial lines were extremely gentle, her voice like cherry blossoms falling in spring. "Yuki, stop picking on Student Ren. Look at what a true angel-like beautiful girl looks like. Both are beauties, so how could the difference be this huge?" Flashing a smile, I looked at her. "Student Yui, you're so nice. Compared to you, certain people are a world apart." "Ren, do you want to die?" The icy voice instantly enveloped me in a sheet of frost. Holding my arms, I swiftly dodged behind Yui, rolling my eyes at Yuki. "I didn't say it was you. What are you getting anxious for?" With a cold face, Yuki put down her cup. "Get over here! Not going!" "Ren, don't force me to come over myself." Caught in the middle, Yui felt extremely helpless. "All right, stop bickering, you two. Yuki, no matter what, he is our classmate?" Yuki snorted coldly, leaning back with arms crossed, staring at me sideways. "Both stupid and dumb and stubbornly headstrong. Did you forget who rescued you from the typhoon last night?" Yuki's gaze stared straight at me, hiding behind Yui. "Found a new backer so quickly, huh? Ungrateful." Yui cleared her throat softly. "On a serious note, there are still many things at school today. Let's head over quickly." Imperial Manor was about a 20-minute drive from the school, and there were no public transportation tools nearby. I didn't dare to harbor wild wishes that Yuki would be kind enough to give me a ride. "Student Yui, can I catch a ride?" "Of course you can." "Thank you, you're so nice." The Yui family villa and the Kuroba family villa were very close, both within the same manor. 2 sports cars stopped one after another at the entrance. Yuki opened the driver's door without expression and sat inside. From the rearview mirror, she saw me getting into Yui's car. Yuki indifferently withdrew her gaze, shifted gears, and slammed the accelerator to the bottom. With a roar, the Lamborghini sprinted out like a sharp arrow, disappearing in a short moment. I raised my head to look at Yuki's car, already driving far away. Driving so fast, does she not care about her life? Yui sat inside, as if sunlight was pouring into the entire car, the aura on her body feeling warm. My stomach chimed in right on cue with a rumble. Yui froze for a moment, then laughed softly. "Ah, did you not have time for breakfast this morning?" "Why didn't I eat?" I opened my mouth dejectedly. I only made one sandwich and it was snatched away by Yuki. Saying so, I looked at Yui with a face full of curiosity. "Student Yui, getting along with someone like Yuki must be very exhausting, right?" "Not really. After spending more time together, you'll find many admirable strengths in her." Speechless, I said, "For example, a sharp tongue?" "Except for this one that impresses me, I basically haven't found any others." Yui was amused by me again. While talking, the car had already driven out of the manor, heading toward the bustling streets. Not long after driving, Yui slowly pulled the car over to the curb. "Wait for me a moment," unbuckling her seatbelt as she spoke. I nodded. "Anyway, we left early today. No need to worry about being late at all." A short moment later, Yui returned, holding a paper bag in her hand, smiling as she handed it to me. "Here for you." I took it over, giving her a surprised look. "Bought breakfast for you!" Opening the paper bag to look, inside were a warm burger and soy milk. "Student Yui, you're so nice!" Yui smiled gently. "Just call me Yui." "Thank you, Yui." As soon as I walked into the classroom, I saw Sime sitting there, pouring out his grievances, surrounded by a crowd of classmates. Sime fell down the stairs yesterday and framed me, saying I pushed him. Now I was completely the public enemy of the class. Both boys and girls were standing on Sime's side. Upon seeing me walk in, every single one of them glaring at me, "Ren, you still have the nerve to come to school?" "Exactly. Look at what you did to someone else. His face is all swollen. He's a star who eats relying on his face. Do you think he's like an ugly monster like you?" Sime put on the appearance of a weakling. Placing my backpack on the desk, I spoke lightly. "Eats relying on his face? No wonder after being in the entertainment industry for so many years, he's still an unknown 18th line little star. After all, he has no actual talent, right?" Sime furiously raised his eyes. This sentence could be considered hitting Sime right where it hurt. 5 years ago, when I was barely over 10 years old, I was already wildly popular across the nation, whereas him? After struggling for so many years, he was still a minor actor with only tens of thousands of followers on Weibo. Even though I was disfigured and banned, Sime was still just lukewarm like this. Surrounding classmates immediately defended Sime against the injustice, looking at me angrily. "How can you be like this? I've really never seen someone so shameless." Student Sime is handsome at least. Even if he didn't blow up to an exaggerated extent, he's definitely not someone an ugly monster like you can mock. If you have the ability, why don't you try becoming a star too? I'm afraid you wouldn't even make it to the 18th line. The girls in the class were even more indignant on behalf of their class heartthrob. These days, ugly people really cause so much trouble. Why don't you take a piss and look at your own demeanor in the reflection? Shrugging my shoulders, I replied, "Is that so? What I look like, I know very well in my heart. No one can tell the future. I just hope you guys don't get slapped in the face in the days to come." Sime glared at me with hatred. "Ren, do you think with your current appearance you can still compete with me?" "Sime, don't lower yourself to the level of that ugly monster. We all support you. We believe you'll definitely have the day you hit it big. At that time, a certain ugly monster will still get slapped in the face. Speaking of which, why didn't you rest at home for a few more days?" Sime snapped back to reality, touching his somewhat swollen face. Yesterday, for no reason at all, he was slapped so many times across the face by several men in black. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? It was simply infuriating. Besides, he didn't even want to come to school, okay? However, today was the day the school drama club selected new members, so he had to come. The drama club of Seiya Academy was the place every person who wanted to become a star dreamed of the most. Even many big directors in the entertainment industry would come to Seiya's drama club to pick suitable actors. Most importantly, the president of the drama club was the currently popular idol Kiko. Who was Kiko? A year ago, relying on the female lead role in a youth idol drama, School Belle's First Love, she exploded in popularity rapidly. Ever since then, big or small matters regarding Kiko would quickly climb into the top 3 real-time hot searches on Weibo, making her an undisputed popular idol. As long as one could join the drama club, they would definitely hit it big in the future. Simei secretly made up his mind that he must join the drama club. In chemistry class, I truly had no defense against this kind of science subject. As I was nodding off, my phone suddenly vibrated wildly. Snapping awake, I secretly glanced at the teacher and quickly pulled out my phone to view group messages. In the group, there were only 3 people in total, me, my best friend Ken, and Ren far away abroad. "Ren, hurry up and come out, where are you?" Ren was frantically tagging me. "If you don't come out, I'm going to commit murder." Twisting the corners of my mouth, I quickly replied, Coming. Big bro, I'm in class. Do you think I'm in the US too? A matter of utmost importance. This afternoon, Seiya Drama Club is picking people. Don't forget to go." "You mean you want me to head to the drama club sporting this terrifying face right now? May I ask, is this face of mine supposed to go try out for playing a little ghost? Why do you have such a lack of foresight? Seiya Academy's drama club only selects people once a year, but can't you recover to your original appearance in 3 months? Once you recover your original looks, won't you dominate the drama club in minutes?" I thought about it, and it seemed like that made sense. That cheap brother of yours definitely won't pass up this chance either, still delusionally thinking he can rely on getting into the drama club to become famous in one shot. Go ahead, and 3 months later, give him a good beating. But with my current face, I really have no confidence. What are you scared of? Did you forget your specialty skill? Speaking of this specialty skill, I pondered slightly. In the end, I still went to the drama club. Located right in the West Campus area of Seiya Academy, there were many clubs here, but right now, the most popular one was the drama club. Firstly, people could see the currently popular star Kiko, and secondly, everyone was fantasizing. What if I really become a star? Don't be in a rush, everyone! Holding the registration form in my hand, I was being squeezed back and forth by a crowd of people like a sandwich filling. Right at this moment, a burst of conversation came from nearby. So many people, yet only 3 members will be selected in total. The competition is quite fierce. What's there to fear? Simei can definitely pass. He's originally an actor after all. That's a given. I still have this bit of confidence. Simei spoke triumphantly. Turning my head to look, I indeed saw Simei and his friends. The gazes of several people met in the air, and Simei froze for a moment. He clearly didn't expect that I would come too. Am I seeing things? Do ugly monsters dream of becoming famous these days? The one saying this was Simei's best friend Ken. Speaking of Ken, he could be considered handsome too. Standing next to Simei, the way he looked at me was full of pure contempt and mock. Ren, can you have a little self-awareness? It's fine for the 2 of us to try out. At least we're handsome, but who do you think you are? If you get selected, I'll live stream eating a keyboard. Simei sneered. Count me in too. Shrugging casually, I said, Is that so? I'll wait and see. The conversation between them was overheard by the people around, and everyone laughed derisively. Where did this ugly guy get his confidence from? Having such an eyesore face and yet having the nerve to try out. Can a certain ugly monster covered in scars look in the mirror? Seeing that the topic of public opinion was successfully guided onto me, Simei and Ken were extremely triumphant, looking at each other and laughing gloatingly. Although I had gotten used to being treated as an ugly monster over these 5 years, at this moment I still felt a bit annoyed, my hands gradually clenching into fists. Look quickly! Club President Kiko is out! A burst of whistling and gasps suddenly erupted from the crowd. For a moment, the surrounding people couldn't care less about mocking me, all squeezing forward. Club President Kiko? I raised my head to look up. The noon sunshine was bright just to the right degree. On the open-air balcony on the 2nd floor of the drama club, a girl with light brown, shoulder-length hair was standing there, leaning against the railing. She wasn't wearing a school uniform, and her long white dress made her look extremely gentle. Strikingly gorgeous yet restrained. Extraordinarily beautiful. Even more beautiful than on TV. Hi! Good afternoon, everyone! Kiko waved very happily at the dense crowd of people below, her voice sweet and clear. Thank you all for your support of our drama club. I've seen all your enthusiasm. Next, please don't push or crowd. Line up in order to enter the venue and wait for selection. I hope everyone works hard. I'll be waiting for you in the final round of interviews. Saying so, she even blew a kiss to the people below. The boys below all went crazy, taking photos or shouting, "Goddess, I love you!" I helplessly covered my ears. Is this a selection process or a fan meeting? Cool! This shouting of these boys is almost going to deafen me, okay? Helplessly pushing through the crowd. While these boys were still lingering here, I took the lead to step forward and handed my registration form to a tall club member at the entrance of the drama club. This member looked up at me, his jaw almost dropping. "You're here to try out too?" "That's right. You don't have the qualification to try out. Leave quickly." Looking unhurried, I asked, "Why? Why don't you look at what you look like? Do you think our drama club is a place any ugly monster can enter? Leave quickly. Leave quickly." Feeling a bit annoyed, I pulled out my student ID and said with utmost seriousness, "First, I am a student of Seiya Academy, so trying out for the drama club is completely legitimate. Second, the drama club seems to have never made a rule that selection is based on looks, right? May I ask, are you the president? Can you alter trial qualifications as you please? Third, put away your colored glasses. Commenting on other people's looks so casually is truly ill-mannered." The tall club member was instantly dumbfounded. Without saying a word, I looked at him fearlessly, possessing an aura that couldn't be concealed even with this ugly appearance. The tall member was suddenly at a loss for words, taking a step back. "Fine, enter if you want, ignorant of your own limits. Even if I let you in, you'll definitely not get selected." Compared to that boy's lack of manners, I calmly said thanks, snatched my registration form back from his hand, and stepped inside. The trial process was very simple, a written test and an interview. The written test tested knowledge related to theatrical acting. People who knew nothing about theatrical acting would definitely be completely confused. Although I debuted as a singer in the past, I actually preferred acting. The contents of this written test were very simple for me. The entire testing room was dead silent, with everyone working on the questions with frowning faces. Taking only 5 minutes, I stood up, walked to the front, and handed in my paper. "You finished writing?" The invigilating boy looked amazed. I nodded. "What should I do next?" The boy was shocked. Although these test questions weren't extremely hard, they were definitely not at a level where one could easily solve them in 5 minutes. Okay? Pushing up his glasses, he said, "Go wait in the main hall first." In the same test room, Simi and Ken exchanged glances. Simi gritted his teeth secretly and muttered in a low voice, "How could he be so fast? He definitely cheated." Or he just guessed blindly. Yawning, I waited outside boredly for quite a long time before people gradually turned in their papers and walked out. As soon as Sime walked out, he mocked me coldly. "Did you think they were all multiple-choice questions where you could just guess randomly to pass? How ridiculous!" Ken added fuel to the fire. "Do you think you're a genius? Everyone turned in their papers at 30 minutes. Only you had to pretend. Just wait to embarrass yourself when the results are announced later." I didn't speak, because I was too lazy to argue with idiots. About half an hour later, the results of the written test came out. The written test selected the top 20 rankings according to score order. Students whose names are called, please come to me to line up. Sime, Ken. Sime and Ken looked at me gloatingly. "We'll go ahead. You'll definitely be filtered out." The names were called out one by one, until the very end where my name still wasn't called. Sime boasted triumphantly, "Look, I said he'd be filtered out." Turning his head, Sime raised his eyebrows at me with a face full of provocation, silently forming 2 words with his mouth. "Serves you right." Ooh, Ken also made an international friendly gesture at me. Both of them were completely gloating. Who knew that right at this moment, another boy came up hastily. "Wait a second! A name was missed just now! Ren! Passed with full marks!" The written test results were like a single stone causing 1,000 waves. After 2 seconds of silence on the scene, an incredible gasp instantly erupted. Full marks! Simei and Ken were completely dumbfounded. How is this possible? Yawning again, I thought, this is more like it. This kind of score and this kind of reaction are indeed just as I expected. Quote, however, I've already announced the top 20 names, so the student who ranked last just now will be eliminated. The staff member spoke while looking down to check the list, then raised his head apologetically to look at Ken. Sorry, you've been eliminated. What? How could this happen? Trembling all over with rage, Ken's face turned ash pale. Looking at me with hatred, I walked unhurriedly up to him and shoved Ken out of the line unceremoniously. Waving my hand, I imitated Ken's previous movement and also made an international friendly gesture. Sorry, accidentally outranked you. Goodbye. Ken was furious beyond belief. Although Simei wasn't eliminated, seeing me look so smug, his mouth was similarly twisted with anger. This was completely different from what he had imagined. The staff member had already begun clearing the floor. Students eliminated in the first round. Please leave on your own. Ken glared at me fiercely. I'll remember you. Do you think passing the written test is a big deal? With an ugly monster face like yours that makes people want to vomit, you'll definitely be eliminated in the upcoming interview. I'll be waiting. After saying that, he left furiously yet helplessly. On the other side, in the president's office, Kiko was sitting on the sofa without any idle burden, browsing a drama on a tablet, clutching her stomach and laughing until she hiccuped. Her phone rang. She glanced at the caller ID and picked it up. As soon as it connected, she started laughing loudly. Ha ha ha, Yuki, you called right on time. I want to recommend a super hilarious sitcom to you. Ha ha ha, dying of laughter. Even though Kiko laughed beyond her control, Yuki, on the other end of the phone, remained expressionless. Kiko, if you dare keep laughing, believe it or not, I'll expose your embarrassing photos. Kiko still cherished her reputation very much, quickly wiping away the tears from laughing out of the corner of her eyes. So boring. Why did you call me? The other end of the phone was silent for a few seconds. Hello? Kiko blinked her blue eyes, a giant question mark popping up over her head. Was this still her decisive and resolute friend? What was the deal with this eerie silence? Yuki cleared her throat softly, her tone steady. There's someone named Ren. Ren, he signed up for your drama club. How's the situation right now? I don't know. The written test just finished. It's not time for my interview yet. Kiko sat up, casually picking up the written test score sheet sent over by the staff earlier, browsing it and freezing again. Wait, who is Ren? Why do you care about him so much? Yuki said with a cold face. Which of your eyes saw that I care about him? If you don't care about him, why did you specially call me? Last time when I was filming, I almost broke my leg and didn't see you initiate a single call to me. Forget it. Pretend I never made this call to you, Yuki said, about to hang up. Hey, wait a second. You're making me very confused now. Are you telling me to give special care to this guy named Ren? Yuki paused again, her red lips parting slightly. Up to you! Click! The call hung up. Kiko was somewhat baffled. What did up to you mean? Who could tell her what Yuki actually meant? Half an hour later, inside the performance room, someone pushed open the door in a hurry, making the originally noisy environment fall silent instantly. Sorry, kept everyone waiting. Kiko walked in with a bright smile. We'll start the interview right away. Sitting there together with the people who had just passed the written test, I watched Kiko walk to the main seat with brisk steps. The surrounding people were all secretly excited. Turning her head, Kiko handed the document papers in her hand to an assistant. Distribute this! The documents were distributed one by one. Taking a look at it, I found it was a script, printed full of dense lines. Based on line analysis, it seemed to be a period drama. Now, everyone has a different script in hand. The content of the interview is very simple, giving you 5 minutes to memorize these lines. After 5 minutes, everyone present will be paired into groups of 2 to start reciting lines against each other. No pauses of any kind are allowed in between, and the person who pauses first will be eliminated. As soon as these words were spoken, the surroundings exploded. Memorizing so many lines in 5 minutes, how could anyone possibly memorize it? Looking at the lines in his hand, Simei was extremely triumphant. He had been the Chinese class representative since childhood, so memorizing things was a piece of cake for him. Hey, Ren. Simei turned his head to look at me, raising his eyebrows. How about the 2 of us form a group to PK? Do you dare to compete in the same group as me? shrugging my shoulders. I replied, "Doesn't matter?" Leaning her arms against the chair back, Kiko said, "Is everyone ready? The 5-minute timer officially starts." The performance room instantly fell into a silence, with everyone nervously memorizing lines. Kiko poked the vice president standing beside her with her hand, lowering her voice. "Who is Ren?" "The boy sitting in the last row." Looking in the direction pointed by the vice president, Kiko was so scared that her chair tilted, almost falling to the ground. "No way! That boy doesn't even border on handsome." Her friend had kept herself pure for over 10 years. Kiko even doubted whether Yuki liked men at all. Yet unexpectedly, Yuki liked this type? Truly hard to describe. 5 minutes passed quickly. "There are 30 seconds left. Students who have memorized it, please turn in the script." Seimei stood up, turning in the script with full confidence. Turning his head, he found that in the last few seconds, I was still focused on memorizing lines. Stepping forward quickly, he snatched the script from my hand. "What are you doing?" I was somewhat annoyed. My concentrated focus broken instantly. "Didn't you hear there's only a few seconds left? I'm kindly helping you turn it in, and you're not even grateful?" Seimei raised his eyebrows gloatingly. "Didn't memorize it, right? Did you really think memorizing lines was that easy? If you have no talent, don't force yourself. If you want to admit defeat, do it early." My heart was completely calm, even wanting to laugh. The PK officially began. Paired up in groups of 2 to act and recite lines against each other, the scene was chaotic. Less than 2 minutes into the start, people were already eliminated one after another. Seimei and I faced each other. Facing my ugly face, before the competition even started, Seimei had a lofty sense of superiority. Setting aside line delivery skills for now, just from current outward appearance, he believed he was miles ahead of me. To give me a head start blow, Seimei opened up rapid mode right from the start, his mouth endlessly reciting lines. Was this demonstrating power to me? Raising my eyebrows, I also rapidly recited lines, my speed neck and neck with his, even slightly superior. Seimei panicked a bit. What were his next lines again? His brain suddenly jammed for a moment. Seimei's face turned pale instantly, and his speaking speed gradually slowed down. He had been too eager for quick success just now. Finished? Finished? He was about to reach the part where he forgot his lines. Was he going to lose? Who knew that in the next second? Facing Seimei, I suddenly stopped, whole person getting stuck. He made a mistake. Turning his head excitedly, Seimei shouted to the judge beside him, "Look quickly! He jammed on his lines! He lost!" Turning his head excitedly, Seimei shouted to the judge beside him, "Look quickly! He jammed on his lines! He lost!" The judge pushed up the glasses on the bridge of his nose. "Student, did you make a mistake?" "What mistake?" Seimei frowned in dissatisfaction, pointing at me on the side. He clearly paused just now, can't you tell? How are you acting as a judge? Doing shady business out in the open, aren't you? Seimei's tone was somewhat aggressive, and this ferocious appearance enraged the judge quite a bit. "I warn you, you'd better watch your mouth. There are surveillance cameras in our performance room. Student Ren has already recited all the lines he received. What pause? Was your brain kicked by a donkey? What? Recited them all? How is that possible?" Seimei's mouth opened and closed, failing to snap back to reality for a long time. He had only recited about 2/3, yet I had already finished reciting such a long script. What on earth was inside his brain? Looking at Seimei's shocked expression where he couldn't speak a word, I smiled slightly, speaking with an unbothered face. "Sorry, I won again." Seimei was furious enough to vomit blood. He actually lost to me once again. Even if you forced me to finish memorizing early, so what? Is this really a competition of speed? Before you finished memorizing, I didn't make any mistakes either, so at most the two of us are just tied. Seimei spoke righteously. Furthermore, what the drama club competes in isn't just line skills. Looks are also very important, right? Ren, why don't you look in the mirror at what kind of hideous monster you are right now? Even if you get into the drama club with your current appearance, what can you possibly act? What I can act is none of your business. The fact is that you lost. Seimei glared at me with hatred. At this moment, the surrounding voices gradually died down. The winner was already plain to see. Everyone turned their heads to look over, whispering, "That ugly monster is way too arrogant, isn't he? Did he just win once by luck? What is he acting smug for? Sime is so pitiful, being bullied and oppressed by an ugly monster like this. Inside my heart, I wondered if I should speak up. Were all the people around blind? When did I ever bully Sime? Resting her chin on her hand, Kiko glanced at me and Sime with great interest, then immediately stood up. All right, now that things have come to this, the winner is very clear. While you two were in a PK just now, I was observing the entire time, and now I want to select 3 people whom I consider most suitable to join the drama club. The first one, Hana? Kiko pointed at an exquisitely pretty girl in front of her. Hana's selection surprised no one because, just like Simi, she was also a minor actor in the entertainment industry and quite famous on the internet. I glanced at Hana, pursing my lips. The second one, Airi. This girl named Airi had eyes full of excitement like she had won the jackpot. As for the third one, Kiko set her gaze on my side, her smile radiant. Student Sime, welcome to our drama club. I was stunned. Why is it him? Clearly I won. Sime obviously hadn't expected that Kiko would choose him either. The pleasant surprise simply fell from the sky. He spoke excitedly. Thank you, Club President Kiko. I will definitely work hard. Although the others were eliminated, they still flattered him. Sime, congratulations. Awesome. Luckily it was still you who got selected. Do you want to celebrate together after school? You have to treat us. Same smiled so broadly that his mouth couldn't even close. No problem, my treat. Unwilling to accept this, my hand gradually clenched into a fist. Please wait a moment! Kiko, who was about to leave, turned around with an innocent face. Reason? I stared straight at her. Why, clearly I was the one who won in the end. Student Ren, I'm really sorry. I never said this was a memory competition, did I? The PK just now was merely a reference for me. Who won or lost in the end cannot directly affect the final result, okay? Kiko cupped her hands regretfully. What's more, this drama club recruitment drive is truly meant for practical use. Around summer vacation, our school drama club will have several tour performances, and recruiting members externally this time is also for several special roles in this tour. She simply couldn't find any role suitable for this appearance of mine. On the surface, Kiko was laughing and playing around, but she was actually very sharp. She couldn't act carelessly regarding such matters. Biting my lower lip, I felt as if all the blood in my body was flowing backward, unwilling and furious, yet utterly helpless. That's right, who told me to be stuck with this ugly face right now? What use is having skill? This is a society that looks at faces. Kiko gave me a pitying look. Maybe next time. If there's a suitable role, I will break the rules to recruit you. Saying so, she walked away. Seimei pulled at the corners of his mouth triumphantly. With his arms crossed over his chest, he looked at me haughtily. Have you seen clearly now? Even if you remember well and memorize fast, what use is that? Who told you to be so ugly? Frowning, I said, Oh my, you better not look at me with that kind of expression. I'm afraid I'll have nightmares tonight. Competing with me, you're still a bit too green. I said it, you will be stomped under my feet for the rest of your life. The surrounding people also chimed in. Exactly. An ugly monster is just an ugly monster. Don't ever dream of turning things around in this lifetime. If you're ugly, you should read more books. Stop coming out to embarrass yourself. Sime was in a great mood. Let's go, classmates. Your bro is in a great mood today, taking everyone out for a feast. Saying so, he turned his head to look at me, saying word by word, Bye-bye, defeated loser. My anger was about to burst through the roof. Having just taken 2 steps, someone suddenly gasped, Gosh, it's Miss Yuki! Simei's face was full of pleasant surprise, and he hurriedly abandoned the crowd to greet her. A year ago, Seimei had endorsed a minor online game developed under Yuki's company and had seen Yuki once from afar. At that time, he was attracted by this girl who seemed like a queen. Adjusting his facial expression, Seimei spoke with utmost caution. Yuki, do you still remember me? Seimei looked very handsome, but Yuki merely glanced at him once and found him very eyesore. Seimei's voice couldn't conceal his excitement. I'm Seimei from the first-year grade. Actually, a year ago, you and I already met once at the BT group. Do you still remember? Yuki crossed her arms, looking down at him with a noble and indifferent glare. Where on you is worth my remembering? Seimei's face turned pale instantly, and he smiled somewhat awkwardly. "It's fine if you don't remember. We can get to know each other slowly. Where did you get the confidence to think that this lady has the interest to get to know you slowly?" Simei's face now couldn't even be described as pale, but rather as ugly as it could possibly get. A wave of gasps broke out around them. Miss Yuki had always been aloof and arrogant beyond belief, but at least the guy standing opposite her was a school heartthrob. The school belle was indeed just like the rumors, cold and unfeeling, remaining completely unmoved even when facing such a handsome guy like Simei. A boy wearing glasses in the club slid up obsequiously. Sister Yuki, why did you come to our drama club?" Yuki's gaze casually swept past me not far away without staying too long. "Where is Kiko?" The glasses boy hurriedly spoke. "Our president just left 5 minutes ago." Should I go call her back? Standing here on my side, I gritted my teeth. For some reason, ever since Yuki appeared, I felt an even stronger sense of embarrassment standing here with my current appearance, like a joke. Yuki must also think I'm a joke, right? Bringing this ugly face to apply for the drama club, standing here like a loser. Turning around, I quickly left through another door of the drama club. Although her gaze wasn't fixed on me, Yuki's peripheral vision captured that lonely figure. "Miss Yuki?" Seeing Yuki remain silent, the glasses boy inquired cautiously again. Yuki stepped forward to walk outside. "No need!" Simei chased after her unwillingly. "I'm going out to eat with my friends later to celebrate getting selected into the drama club. Why don't you come along too?" A crowd of Simei's sidekicks surrounded them, assisting. "Yeah, Miss Yuki, come with us." If you came 10 minutes earlier, it would have been great. The PK match just now was super exciting. Just now, an ugly monster named Ren was directly obliterated by Simei. It was so satisfying to watch. Originally, Yuki's steps hadn't paused in the slightest, but upon hearing my name, her steps paused slightly. Simei was overjoyed. Did Miss Yuki get interested? He desperately exuded what he thought was charm toward Yuki. "Yuki, coming together? What did you say your name was just now?" "Simei!" Simei was excited beyond belief. Yuki gave him a meaningful glance sideways. "Very good, I remember you." Leaving behind these words, Yuki walked away without looking back. The surrounding people instantly cheered. "Gosh, did you hear what Miss Yuki said just now? There's a situation going on. Being handsome is great if you become the Yuki family's son-in-law in the future. Don't forget about us." Simei felt delighted in his heart. That sentence just now meant she was interested in him. Simei gloated secretly. One day, he would become Yuki's rightful boyfriend. Walking outside, my heart felt extremely complicated. Losing to Simei really made me so unwilling. "Damn it!" I kicked the ground angrily. A familiar voice came over from the side. "Are you trying to dig a hole here to bury yourself?" Surprised, I raised my head to look at Yuki standing not far away, her beautiful face as annoying as ever. Every time she spoke, no ivory could come out of a dog's mouth. "I'm going to dig a hole to bury you first." Yuki pulled at the corner of her mouth slightly. Stepping forward, she closed in step by step. "What are you doing?" I backed up step by step until my back pressed against the tree trunk behind me, completely with nowhere to retreat. I was dumbfounded. Yuki was standing right in front of my face. The spring sunshine was very bright, the wind blowing the tree leaves to send out rustling sounds. Sunlight leaked through the branches, scattering in dappled patches, casting a shallow golden halo on Yuki's radiant face. Looking like this, she really looked so good. Yuki raised her head, her gaze meeting mine, her voice gentle. "Why are you in a bad mood?" I could clearly hear my own heartbeat accelerating bit by bit. Could Yuki be caring about me? Panicking, I hurriedly used my hands to cover my face. Who knew that my wrist would suddenly be grabbed by Yuki? Raising her eyebrows slightly, she asked, "What are you nervous about?" Yuki's face got even closer, able to clearly see my eyes filled with panic. "Ren, you're really not good at lying. You couldn't possibly think I was caring about you, right?" A playful arc curved at the corner of Yuki's mouth. Letting go of my wrist, she took a step back, her tone restoring its usual venomous tongue. "I'm just reminding you, no matter how bad your mood is, don't forget your identity. Kana is still waiting for you to go back and take care of her." I knew it. Gritting my teeth, Yuki abandoned me and walked far away, seeing that I didn't catch up. She turned around and said with a sharp tongue, "Still not keeping up? Are you waiting for me to find someone to carry you back? Got it. Anyway, my fate is just hard labor." Chasing after her and thinking of the scene just now, this was my first time coming into such close contact with a girl. My heart was beating so fast. I must be crazy. Having just driven the car into the yard of the Kuroba Villa, Yuki's phone rang. She glanced at the screen and ordered me, "You go in first!" Unbuckling my seatbelt, I opened the car door and walked out. "Hi, Sister Yuki." A voice acting cute came over from the other end of the phone. "Guess who I am? Kiko. Do you think my caller ID display is just a decoration? Why are you always so serious? Speak if you have business. I'll hang up if you don't." "I do. I just heard from my manager that my new movie is something you're the biggest investor in. I feel it's necessary to call you to recount our years of sisterly friendship. Please invest a bit more. I know what you lack least is money." The question of how much money was invested greatly affected Kiko's food conditions during future filming times, as well as various other aspects. Kiko attached great importance to it. "New movie? You mean that movie, Obsession?" "That's right." Kiko snapped her fingers. Yuki nodded with understanding, then spat out a few icy words. "I'm withdrawing my investment." "What's the situation?" Kiko was dumbfounded. "Withdrawing investment? Why? Think about it yourself. How do I know what kind of crazy fit you're throwing? Yuki, are you still my good sister or not? You're heartless. You're being unreasonably troublesome. Call me again when you figure it out. Hello?" The phone hung up again. Kiko fell back onto the sofa behind her, biting her index finger and striving to ponder, where on earth did she offend Yuki, inside the Kuroba Villa? I walked in and found Kana sitting on the sofa playing games. "Kana, what are you playing?" Kana raised her head, revealing a little angel-like smile. "Little brother?" Saying so, she shook the tablet. Creeping forward to take a look, I found the screen displaying, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner. You won?" My jaw almost dropped in shock. What Kana was playing was a game from Yuki's company that was popular across all of Asia, Wilderness Showdown. My best friend Ken and I both loved playing it. And back then, we got to know Ren because of this game too. The three of us often teamed up to play together, but due to limited skill, we couldn't win many matches. Yet the little girl Kana in front of me, a 6-year-old kiddo, won so easily. Kana cupped her hands innocently. "I was preparing to uninstall it. This game is too simple. I felt 10,000 points of critical damage. A teenager like me actually couldn't beat a little child." Right at this moment, a cute little kitty walked over, rubbing against Kana's body. What a cute cat! Overjoyed, I asked, "Kana, where did this cat come from? Isn't it super cute?" Kana picked up the cat, playing with its pink little paws. "It's an American Shorthair with white, named Meow Meow, little brother. Have you watched an anime called Cheese Sweet Home? Meow Meow is that same breed of cat." My eyes brightened instantly. "But when I came before, why didn't I see it?" Meow Meow was sick these past few days and stayed at the pet hospital the whole time, just brought back. I couldn't help wanting to lean closer. Kana spoke worryingly. "Little brother, Meow Meow is super ferocious. Usually doesn't let others pet it and even bites people. Be careful." As soon as her voice fell, Meow Meow crept up right in front of me, first sniffing, then rubbing its little head against my finger. At this moment, a tough guy's heart was about to be melted. I casually picked up Meow Meow. A pleasant voice came over unexpectedly from right above my head. "As expected! Similar intelligence of the same species. A foolish person and a foolish cat are a perfect match." My eyelids twitched as I looked over furiously. "Yuki, who are you calling foolish?" "Whoever hears it knows." Yuki sat down with utmost elegance, crossing her legs and raising her noble eyelids. "Did you come here just to play with the cat? I'll go make food for Kana right now. Can a person even rest for a little bit?" Still unable to resist rubbing Meow Meow's little cat head, I then stood up and walked toward the kitchen. Having researched several good-looking and delicious children's meals after returning home these past few days, I changed up the style to make food for Kana every day. For some reason, seeing Kana's eyes glow gave me a great sense of achievement. After finishing, I sat back down on the sofa to play with the cat, my voice softening unconsciously. "You're so cute." Yuki sat expressionlessly by the dining table, cutting the steak that the maid had fried and served up, her eyes swirling slightly as she looked askance at a certain man with a radiant smile. "Ren!" "What's wrong?" "Put away that disgusting voice of yours. It's affecting my appetite." My smile froze. What did she mean by disgusting voice? 5 years ago, I debuted as a singer, okay? The media all praised my voice as a heavenly voice. Although I'd been having bad luck over these 5 years, my voice was still as great as ever. How did it become disgusting when it reached Yuki? Not only did I have to come to the Kuroba family to take care of Kana these past few days, but also because the day for my mother's surgery was coming soon, I was extremely busy and kept my mind highly focused. I didn't linger long at the Kuroba house today. Leaving early, speaking of the surgery, I started going through the hospitalization procedures yesterday and estimated she could be successfully hospitalized by the day after tomorrow. As long as Mom could be successfully hospitalized for the surgery, my suffering at the Sato family wouldn't be in vain. On Saturday, I listed a shopping list, preparing to go to the supermarket to select some necessities for Mom's hospitalization. Pushing a small cart while looking down at the list in my hand, right at this moment, a girl wearing a baseball cap came over in a hurry, accidentally bumping into my arm. She hurriedly turned her head. "Sorry!" Upon seeing my face, her whole person froze for a moment. I was dumbfounded too. The girl in front of me was Hana, who was just selected into the drama club yesterday. She was one of the 3 members, as well as my primary school class president. Back in the 6th grade, I once thought class president was particularly cute and secretly had a crush on this class president for a period of time. Later I got hot and became famous. And Hana, whose looks were quite outstanding, was also spotted by a talent scout, similarly signing with the entertainment company I belonged to. It could be said that Hana personally witnessed how I went from an ordinary primary school student to a national idol and how I was disfigured due to a car accident, becoming this ugly appearance of today and frozen by the company. Only unfortunately, she didn't know that I was not disfigured at all, but merely framed by the company and forced to play ugly. What a coincidence. Bumping into you again. I smiled, feeling somewhat awkward. Hana sized me up from top to bottom, looking at my current ugly appearance, her tone somewhat perfunctory. "Ren, you're living way too pitifully right now. Yesterday at the drama club, I already recognized you. Limited by the company's confidentiality agreement, I endured and didn't expose your real identity. Then I should thank you. Thanks." "Not to that extent." Hana waved her hand, her brows frowning slightly as she pulled distance away from me. "I just hope that in school, in the future, you also pretend not to know me. After all, your current appearance is truly way too ugly, whereas I am already a proper public figure now. In case rumors spread between me and an ugly monster like you, it'll affect me negatively. Got it?" I felt somewhat awkward and embarrassed. I had once naively thought that Hana was pretty nice and a little sunshine. The 2 of us had been in the same class since the 1st grade of primary school, and later entered the same entertainment company together that focused on cultivating lolitas and young boys. I remembered that during the year I was super hot, Hana even frequently tried to curry favor with me. But what about now? Hearing these words, my goodwill toward this person dropped straight to the freezing point. Replying faintly, "Same to you." Saying so, I pushed my small cart, about to leave. Hana obviously hadn't expected that my attitude would be so cold. "Ren!" She opened her mouth, her tone faintly hiding some arrogance. No, it should be, "Ren, did you forget the matter of having a crush on me in primary school? Don't people say that a guy's first love is very hard to forget? Pretending to have this indifferent appearance, isn't it just to attract my attention?" I was speechless for a moment. How come I didn't see before that Hana was so narcissistic? Right at this moment, a person walked over toward this side. "Hana! Why did buying a hot pot base take so long? Sima is waiting anxiously at the checkout." It turned out to be Ken. "Next time I need to check the almanac before going out." Hana turned around and grabbed a bag of hot pot base. "Sorry, ran into an old classmate, delayed for a bit." "An old classmate?" Ken's gaze set on me, speaking with a sneer. "Isn't this that ugly monster from our school? Were you classmates with him before? You're way too pitiful." Ken was extremely arrogant. "I heard you were filtered out by the drama club. I said so. With someone like you, if you can get selected, I'll live stream eating a keyboard. Ken turned his head to look at Hana, his eyes somewhat vigilant. Speaking of which, what were you chatting with him about just now? Hana hurriedly claimed innocence. You wouldn't even get jealous over him, right? Look at his looks. Although I heard he indeed liked me before, I swear I've never been moved by him at all. Ken pulled Hana behind himself, glaring at me. What? I was speechless and breathed deeply a few times. Sorry, I have zero interest in your girlfriend, okay? Ken was aggressive. Zero interest? Zero interest, and you entangled her chatting for so long? I see you have no good intentions. Why don't you take a piss and look at your own demeanor in the reflection? Simply a toad wanting to eat swan meat. The corners of my mouth twitched. This Ken and Hana were truly a pair. Their shared bad taste, making one want to chop them both. Ken, is your brain glitching? You think everyone is like you? With eyes so great? Hey, what do you mean by that? Hana was displeased. What? A guy liking her is considered great eyes? Oh, have the guts to say that again. Ken rolled up his sleeves, looking like he was going to beat me up. Although it was 2 against 1 now, I happen to have a stubborn temper. Once this stubborn temper flared up, no one could stop me. I'm talking about you two. One looks down on people, the other is a narcissist. You two are simply a perfect match. The two goods opposite were successfully enraged. Originally, Hana was pulling Ken, but hearing me say this, her self-esteem was also damaged, regardless of anything. Hana stepped up and followed. Ren, what are you pretending for? Do you dare say you never liked me? Back then, who was the one bringing me breakfast every morning? Who was the one always passing me notes during class? Who was the one helping me do duty cleaning? Wasn't it you? Disgusting man. What can that prove? No matter how much you say, that was in the past. And listen clearly, I already have a girl I like. That girl is 180 times better than you. So, can you two stop entangling me like mad dogs? You have a girl you like? Haha, why don't you tell us which girl is even better than our Hana? I see you just can't eat the grapes and say they're sour. Ken embraced Hana triumphantly, as if intentionally demonstrating power. My girlfriend is the prettiest. The girl I like is 10,000 times prettier than Hana, and she's a school belle. My girlfriend has a cool, mature vibe. The girl I like is 1.75 meters tall, with an elegant and high-profile posture. My girlfriend has money. The girl I like not only has a family enterprise herself, but also opened a company on her own at a young age, lacking money the least. Hey, wait a second. I blinked my eyes. Why did the more I spoke, the more combining the above information sounded like a certain person? Ken and Hana looked at each other, Hana looking at me with an expression like looking at an idiot. Ran, you couldn't possibly be talking about Miss Yuki, right? Getting into the groove, I stomped my feet and shouted, Right, it's her, so what? I just like Yuki. Yuki is 10,000 times better than you. Amitabha. Anyway, Yuki wasn't here, so using that dead poker face to block the shots, okay? I felt delighted in my heart until my peripheral vision caught a noble and elegant figure. Wait a second, why does this person look so much like Yuki? That icy expression, even separated from so far away, one could still feel that matchless arrogant aura. Who else could it be if not Yuki? Why would Yuki be here? Would a big boss like her also personally shop at the supermarket? Did it have to be this close? Ken and Hana didn't know at all that at this exact moment, Yuki was standing right behind them. Hearing me say this, the two laughed, bent over double. Gosh, this is definitely the funniest joke of this century. An ugly monster actually likes our school belle Yuki? No way, let me laugh first. How can there be such a delusional man in this world? I lowered my head to look at the tips of my shoes. What to do? Right now, I didn't dare to raise my head at all, my mind filled with scrolling bullet comments. Yuki is here. Yuki is here. Someone give me a knife. Holding his sub-boss stance, Ken stepped forward, sizing me up from top to bottom, his voice dripping with thick mockery. Ren, what capital do you have to like Miss Yuki? A goddess of Miss Yuki's level is not something an ugly monster like you can covet. You're not even worthy of carrying Miss Yuki's shoes. I was completely absent-minded, my combat power against people dropping sharply just now. Ken thought I was frightened by him in this state, adding fuel to the fire. I warn you, Miss Yuki will be Simi's girlfriend in the future. An ugly monster like you. What qualification do you have to compare with Simi? Isn't it? Just now you used so much strength speaking as if you like Miss Yuki, and Miss Yuki would like you back. Hana sneered. Who would like an ugly monster like you unless she's blind? I completely blocked out Ken and Hana's words, my mind filled with whether I should slip away directly right now and whether I should play dumb the next time I saw Yuki. Seeing that I didn't speak, Ken's temper flared. Ren, you idiot! I'm talking to you and you pretend not to hear, right? Ken raised his arm, about to slap my face. Last time I caused him to be filtered out of the drama club, he still held a grudge. Today I delivered myself to his doorstep. Ken, what are you doing? An icy voice sounded. Ken's raised hand froze abruptly. Miss Yuki? Her exquisite face was stained with a thin layer of gloom, dark eyes silently looking at him like this, cold and fierce like ice. What a terrifying gaze! With a wave of Yuki's hand. A bodyguard immediately stepped out, without a word kicking Ken's stomach twice. Ken cried out in pain, his whole body crashing into the shelf on the side. Hana hurriedly stepped forward to help Ken up, somewhat annoyed, but where would she dare to say anything to Yuki? Her boyfriend was beaten, so she could only force a smiling face. Miss Yuki, Ken didn't seem to do anything wrong, right? Why treat him like this? Yuki raised her noble chin, indifference toward everything in her eyes. He's too ugly getting in this lady's eyes, is that not allowed? Ken was shocked. He had been praised as handsome since childhood. Where was he ugly? Ha ha! Seeing Ken enraged to the point of being unable to speak, I couldn't help wanting to laugh. I hurriedly bit my lower lip, striving to hold it in, my shoulders shaking along with it, my eyes swirling slightly. Glancing at me askance, Yuki asked, Having an epilepsy fit? I am not! So venomous-tongued. You're the one with epilepsy. Looking at my angry face, Yuki's expression remained faint, seemingly unaffected by my confession just now. Do you come to this supermarket often? Scratching the hair at my temples, I didn't quite dare to look Yuki straight in the eye. It's okay. This is the biggest supermarket nearby with the most complete variety. Where are keyboards sold? Keyboards? Sweeping my eyes around, I pointed in a direction. Over there should have them sold? Ken's face was somewhat pale, suddenly having an uneasy thought. Yuki crossed her arms over her chest, looking down at Ken. Go by yourself, or should I have someone take you? Miss Yuki? I don't understand what you mean. Don't understand? The aura of a ruler on Yuki was entirely natural. She sneered. Ren is my person. What kind of thing are you? Daring to pick on his head time and time again. What did Miss Yuki say? Ren is her person? What did this mean? Ken took a step back, shocked beyond words. Miss Yuki, are you crazy? Just him, Ren? Hana shouted, pointing at me in disbelief. An ugly monster like this isn't even worthy to stand together with you. Miss Yuki, you're lowering your own status. Before Hana's words were finished, Yuki waved her hand again, and that bodyguard stepped forward once more, directly grabbing her up. Immediately following, a fist landed heavily on Hana's extremely narcissistic little face. Hana was punched straight to the ground, knocking over the discounted promotional products placed on the shelves behind her. Those things scattered all over the floor in a mess. Rubbing her cheek in pain, Hana stood up. Before she could stand firm, she was grabbed by the collar again, and immediately following, another fist landed heavily. Yuki was like a demon controlling all things, her whole body filled with a formidable aura. Ever since this woman gloated just now that Ren had a crush on her when he was little, Yuki must have been displeased with her, right? Hana gasped in pain, completely failing to understand why Yuki had her bodyguard beat her up. For a moment, Hana's temper also flared up. How can you be like this, making no distinction between right and wrong? I don't seem to have provoked you in anything, right? On what grounds do you start beating people up right away? On what grounds? Yuki acted as if she had heard a joke, sneering. On the grounds that I am Yuki? The name Yuki represented supreme authority, which no one dared to provoke, let alone question. Hana held a breath in her chest, yet didn't dare to say anything more. Ken looked at me beside Yuki with hatred, somewhat distorted. Did we say anything wrong? Isn't Ren just an ugly monster? Miss Yuki, why do you favor an ugly monster everywhere? Yuki leaned down, her eyes sharp, every word dripping with warning. If I hear the words, ugly monster, from the mouths of you two again, I guarantee I will make you two live worse than death. If you don't believe it, feel free to try. Ken and Hana trembled in fear, no longer showing their previous arrogant and domineering appearance. The two shrinking together like defeated dogs. Tsk, tsk, tsk. This scene is truly rare. I couldn't resist looking a couple more times. Get out of my sight right now! With the demon's order, Hana and Ken supported each other to stand up. Ken gritted his teeth and glared at me, supporting Hana as they walked away in embarrassment. I let out a long sigh of relief. Looking at this noble girl beside me, my heart felt as if it was gently bumped open by something. Being saved by a beauty today made my heart feel warm. Yuki's dead poker face didn't seem so annoying anymore. Yuki, thank you, I spoke with a beaming smile. Yuki gave a cold, disdainful glance. You think I care about your thanks? Saying so, her exquisite face leaned slightly closer to me. Ren, your taste back then was truly trash. I knew she was referring to the matter of having liked Hana before. You heard all of that? Certain people's voices were so loud, I could hear his howling even from 800 meters away. Clenching my fists, I strived to maintain a smiling face. Actually, it's necessary for me to explain to you. You don't need to take the words just now seriously. Yuki looked at me, her voice somewhat low. Which words? She was definitely asking, knowingly, uneasily lowering my head. Jay, just. Those words where I said I like you? Don't worry, I only said those to anger Hana and Ken, that's all. I definitely won't like you, nor will I cause trouble for you. Yuki's face turned somewhat unsightly. Besides, I really have a girl I like. The girl I like is the Hacker Master Linky. Actually, I can't really say it's like because during those few years when I was at my lowest, this girl whom I've never met before became my most important spiritual pillar. Yuki crossed her arms over her chest, coldly and venomously, saying, Is that so? I'd like to know which girl is so unlucky to be liked by you. I won't tell you. Yuki grew increasingly displeased. Is this your attitude toward your savior? I was amused yet helpless. Please, calling you a savior is way too exaggerated, right? Ren, next time you get killed in the street, I won't care about you at all. Throwing down these words with a cold face, Yuki turned around and walked away. I hurriedly chased after her, my tone carrying a coaxing vibe. Hey, are you angry? You're way too petty, aren't you? Yuki's whole face was written with reluctance. Get lost! I still had a grinning face. To repay you for helping me vent my anger just now, I'll make delicious food for you. Yuki sneered. Who cares about you? Having this time, why don't you go prepare breakfast for the girl you like? Don't be like this. I'll go to the Kuroba villa earlier today to help take care of Kana. Yuki continued to cold mock and sneer. No need. Having this time, why don't you go care about the girl you like? Sweating profusely, I asked, Then what do you want me to do? Yuki paused her steps, her eyes looking askance at me. Write me a thank you letter. Gah? I was dumbfounded. What thank you letter? Is this person teasing me? A thank you letter? Yuki held her noble chin high, her red lips opening and closing to issue instructions. Must be handwritten. Must express genuine feelings, 3,000 words. Short by one word and you're dead. I was scorched black on the outside and tender on the inside by Yuki's unique logic. What the heck, a thank you letter? Should I send you a banner while I'm at it? Pulling at the corners of my mouth in a bind, is 3,000 words a bit too much? The light in Yuki's eyes instantly burst with a hint of threat. Or do you want to try 5,000? Eek, I think 3,000 is pretty good. Yuki withdrew her gaze, her expression cool. Hand it to me on Monday. Making a face, I wondered what kind of matter this was. Was Yuki sent by heaven to save me or to prank me? Right, why are you here? I suddenly asked as if remembering something. Just happened to pass by. Why? UK, I spoke faintly. Then, as if afraid I'd overthink, explained in detail. Had business taking Kana out today. Passing by here she clamored to drink water. So that's how it is. I was wondering how it could be so coincidental. Slender fingers selected a drink, and Yuki turned around and tossed it into my shopping cart, her tone urging, "Still not taking your stuff and leaving? Are you expecting me to give you a ride?" Just happened to be on the way. Yuki glanced at that extraordinarily long shopping list in my hand. "Afraid you'll die of exhaustion halfway, and no one will hand in the thank you letter to me on Monday." I was overjoyed, because today I really had to buy a lot of things, and I was worrying about how to haul them onto the bus after buying. "Wait for me, I'll be quick." "Sister Yui," Kiko excitedly complained. "Yui, tell me, what on earth does Yuki mean? Are we still sisters who grew up together or not? She withdraws investment as soon as she says so, way too much." Yui sat on the sofa, holding a book in hand to read. Shifting her gaze from the book, she looked sideways at Kiko. "So you really don't know why? I beg you, why are you like this too? Can you two say something in human language that I can understand?" Kiko was heartbroken. "If I knew, I wouldn't have come looking for you." I thought carefully for a whole night and couldn't figure out where I offended Yuki. I guess maybe because I'm prettier than her, she started getting jealous of me. "It's definitely like this." Yui smiled slightly. "Kiko, if you still want to get good roles in the future, it's best never to let Yuki hear that last sentence." Kiko played with her hair strands aggrievedly. All right. Yuki is prettier than me by just a tiny bit, but clearly I'm cuter. The two of us aren't on the same route." Yui stopped playing charades with her. "When you were conducting interviews at the drama club, wasn't there a boy named Ren among them?" "Yeah, I had a deep impression of him. That boy has very great potential, but because I really couldn't find a role suitable for him, I didn't select him." Kiko's speaking voice got smaller and smaller, suddenly as if reacting to something. "Could it be? Just as you said, he is a boy with great potential. Appearance is actually temporary. Isn't whether one has strength more important? Your fans like you not purely because of your looks either, right? More of it is affirmation of your acting skills." Yui guided her like a big sister, her voice extremely gentle. "Yuki said to let you call her back after you figure it out. Do you understand now?" Realizing it all at once, Kiko jumped straight off the sofa. Raising her voice, Yui asked, "Where are you going?" "Back to the drama club for a meeting." After I returned home, I received a phone call from the drama club. It was a call notifying me to report to the drama club on Monday. "Is what you're saying true? I was recruited breaking the rules?" "Why? We considered comprehensively and felt your room for growth is very big. If Student Ren doesn't mind, our drama club welcomes your joining." I was extremely excited, feeling a sense of regaining what was lost. But on the surface, I put on an extraordinarily calm appearance, speaking with restraint. "I'll consider it." "Okay, then we'll wait for your call." After hanging up the phone, I let out a prairie dog-like scream, happy beyond belief. For some reason, the feeling of getting affirmation while bearing this ugly face gave me an exceptional sense of achievement. Right after hanging up the phone, the mobile phone rang again. It was actually Simei. As soon as I picked up, Simei's aggressive voice came over. "Ren, I've heard everything. I feel it's baffling. What did you hear?" "The matter of the drama club recruiting you, breaking the rules. And also the matter at the supermarket just now. You'd better explain clearly to me. What on earth is your relationship with Miss Yuki? What kind of thing are you? Why should I explain to you?" Sitting by the bed, I unhurriedly shook my head. "Don't think I don't know. Getting into the drama club breaking the rules was a spot Miss Yuki obtained for you. Otherwise, do you think relying on your ugly appearance, wanting to get into the drama club on your own is simply dreaming?" I froze for a second. Was it like this? The reason I got into the drama club breaking the rules was because of Yuki's relationship? "You shameless thing! What qualification do you have to seduce Miss Yuki? Why don't you take a piss and look at your own demeanor in the reflection? I warn you, she is mine. No matter what you used, Miss Yuki will ultimately be my girlfriend. She is the woman I like, so you stay far away from her, otherwise I'll tear you apart."